All right, we are officially
There we
live.
are. Yeah, boy.
Woohoo!
Cheers. It's about time. Yeah. Well, what are you on about? It's 5 minutes to. We're all right. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, it's like if it's not like 5:52, it's late.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 p.m. and she is already calling out where we are.
Yeah, you're not 2 hours early. What's wrong with you? We're crazy, man.
I don't know.
We're radical over here.
Absolutely. We got Mech Merlin as well.
Very nice. Did you guys go to the barber together? I just went.
Yeah, we do everything together. We do everything together.
Yeah, we naturally. I went on Tuesday. I went and I got a little haircut and a little beard work done.
It's looking good, man. It's looking good.
A little bit cleaner. I should have done it a little bit shorter, but oh well. Could be worse.
Yeah.
The pre-show is getting shorter and shorter. That was kind of my bad. I wanted to go live like 4 minutes ago, but I had to read up a little bit more on one of the topics for the news doc.
Yeah, we were doing a little bit of research, last-minute research.
Yeah.
The other interesting point to note is that we might have been to the barbers together, but we were also wearing the Top Clack t-shirt, so we're twins on the t-shirt.
We're basically the same person.
Yeah.
You know, Jay just has a sexier accent.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, I like doing the pre-show though, so I like it a lot more than when we used to just go live, at 6. It gives us time to kind of chill, make sure things are going okay, and interact with people a little bit just before the stream.
Say hi to people. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to figure out. I don't know if it's a Nightbot thing or if it's like a Twitch thing, but I know in Nathan's stream he has like a little VIP badge that he can give to people in chat.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking maybe we should pick that up too.
Yeah, we can have a look at doing some stuff like that. Yeah.
I don't know. Just a thought.
You can create custom roles within Twitch, and you can give people different roles. So,
okay.
like you can do mods, you can give like VIP and things like that. So yeah.
Gotcha.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah. How's the audio, by the way, everyone? I haven't had to change the audio in like 3 streams, which is like almost worrying, kind of.
Yeah, it is kind of nerve-wracking, actually.
It's a little scary. So hopefully the audio sounds okay and balanced for you guys. OBS hasn't decided to screw me over as much the last few weeks, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it's been behaving, which is good. Audio is sublime. Wow, that was high praise.
Wow, that's yeah. Sublime, like the band, like the.
Oh wow, gosh, yeah, it's sublime. I haven't heard of them since I probably haven't listened to them since I was a teenager.
I hear them on the radio sometimes. They're pretty good. It's pretty iconic band at this point.
I'm all about the podcasts in the car these days, not the radio. I can't remember the last time I had the radio on.
Fair enough. Brian is a hair quieter, but not bad.
It's undone. I feel your pain. Rip my bracket as well. And Luna Sama as well with the tier 1 sub, 11 months on the row. Thank you very much. We genuinely appreciate that. That's really cool.
I'm gonna try
11 months.
Yeah, 11 months. Very nice. Very nice.
And Pooch Stack as well with the Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much, dude.
Okay, I'm gonna turn myself up just a little bit there. Hopefully that's not too bad. Let me know how that is, guys. If we're a little bit more even now. And Pooch Zag with the Twitch Prime. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Lost your streak. Oh, is that how it works? Does it not say how many months in a row it was if you skip a month, I guess?
I think yeah, if you've missed a week, it doesn't show it yet. But Starston with the 12-month streak, 12 months of subs. Yeah, I think if you're using Twitch Prime, it doesn't count your previous ones if you've missed a month or if you've let it lapse. Whereas if you do a non-Twitch Prime sub, then it does come back and counts back. It just tells you it's not a streak.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I swear, every time like I'm looking at chat and someone subscribes, like the thing it says is different. Like every time, I swear.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. FamGuy7 with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much, Sue. We appreciate that.
Thanks for all the subs, guys. Appreciate that.
Yeah, loads of subs already. Oh well, FamGuy7. Oh, there you go. It's changed its point twice for him. Look at that.
Oh, okay. And JShuff gifting a tier 1 sub to Super User 4. Very nice. Thank you for that. And 159 with 400 bits. Very nice.
Yeah, boy.
Ah, yeah. Bits and subs. Bits and subs. I'm gonna make a rap song. It's called Bits and Subs.
You do the rapping. I'll just throw some shapes out.
Yeah. Because I'm not quite as good at the shape throwing, but I could put together some lyrics.
Cool. All right. Okay.
So
what's the Gregory from New York on the 400 bits? What's that about?
I'm not sure what that is. I am not sure what that is. If you guys haven't noticed, we now have Nightbot in the server. So we got a few commands and stuff if you guys ever need it. It's gonna be really helpful for stuff like build streams when you want to know the specs and stuff like that.
Yep, there you go. So you can use exclamation mark commands, and that will give you a list of them. I've just done that in the chat, so you guys can go and check out what are available. You should be able to see that.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for some madness? Yep, we're gonna be doing the first official week of our Mech Madness segment today, so that's pretty exciting. We'll have that coming out pretty darn soon.
Oh, and 159 with the 3600 bits as well, so that's 4,000 bits from 159.
Holy crap! Thank you so much,
Thank you, man. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that.
My heart, my Kuroko. Wait, is that what heart is in Japanese? Kokoro. My Kokoro.
Kokoro, yeah.
I know you're very fluent in Japanese, Jay. But...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm 100% fluent. Yeah, no.
You know. So we'll, just because we are not late, but a little bit later than we normally are, based on how early we normally go live, we're going to wait just another minute or two while people are still kind of rolling in here before we actually kick things off.
Mm-hmm.
So just hang tight, boys and girls. Just chill. Grab a beverage, maybe.
Yeah.
Hydrate with some H2 and/or O, preferably together.
Or, as I was doing a minute ago, coffee at 3 a.m. in the morning.
only you, Jay. Only you.
Man, the things I do for Top Clack, Brian, you don't even know the half of it, do you?
It's true, I don't. Never once heard you complain about it. You're a very stand-up guy.
Glutton for punishment is the other way of looking at it.
Oh, yeah. You're a masochist, I guess? Something like that?
Maybe. Oh.
Yep. 159 with another 5,000 bits. Holy crap. He's going ham today.
Oh, shit. Yeah, there's 5,000 bits there.
Yeah.
9,000 in total. Is he trying to build up to the third place spot and take it away from Olivia?
I don't know. He just took the 4th spot on the leaderboard, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. He's going third. Yeah. Oh, there's another 1,000. He's on for it, guys. I think I feel like he's moving up the chat.
I feel like something fishy is going on here. Holy crap! Thank you very much, sir. You are a crazy man. You guys are all crazy.
Yeah, he's at 18,000 bits now. Wow. Genuinely 159. We really appreciate it.
Okay,
really
he says, okay, this is for the pre-order promo, which we will be talking about momentarily.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. Gio's just pointing out that the vendor GIF is broken. Brian, it's just stuck on zFrontier.
You serious?
Yep, he's pointing that out to me. Gio, I am now closing Discord or minimizing it, so I won't see if you tagged me again. You got lucky there.
See, maybe when I say, or maybe when I said that OBS wasn't going to give me any problems earlier, I just jinxed myself entirely.
No, it's working now.
It should be good now. Yeah. It's so weird. Like media sources will just stop working sometimes in OBS, and you don't have to do anything. Yeah. You just gotta turn it off and turn it back on again. You know, just gotta refresh it a little bit. Oh boy, the things. All right. Well, now's probably a good time to actually officially start. So we're gonna roll a little intro here real quick, and then we'll get started on this stuff. Ah, yeah, boys and girls. Welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack. I am your host, Quakums, here with my lovely co-host, Jay, who's looking absolutely phenomenal as usual. And we're going to talk to you about keyboards today. Big surprise. I bet none of you saw that coming. So all of you are in shock and aw right now.
This isn't the car
this is
show.
Yeah, welcome to Top Gear. I am Clarkson, by the way. I don't know who you want to be, but I'm Clarkson.
Yeah, I'm the stick. There you go.
I think you talk a little bit too much to be the stick, but you know that's totally okay. So we got a lot of things to talk about today, guys. A lot of really cool things happen. We have a very, very full and very awesome news doc today. We have a little bit of a giveaway for you. You know, we got a few things to announce. We're going to be starting our official Mech Madness segment for the month today on this episode. So lots of really, really cool things happening, and yeah. So be hyped, be hyped.
Yes, build up that hype.
Yeah, but first, we're gonna start out with a little casual mail call, because that's what we do here. I'm gonna let Jay start first because he has some pretty cool things going on.
Yeah, so it's been an Artisan week again for me. So I got a couple of ETF caps, which I'll hold up. There we go, from the last ETF sale. Also got some more Keyporas, just 2 more. I've got another 6 or 7 of these coming as well, so these are really cool. So thank you to Classy for sending me one of those as well. And also Brian finally shipped my little care package, which included the cool Top Clack t-shirt. And he also sent me some Jesus switches. And he sent me the Cat Alpha set as well, which I've had a ton of fun using. Honestly, Brian, it's such a nice cat.
It's really good, right?
It's like way better than I was expecting it to be.
Exactly,
it's going to be like, it's going to be SAR3, or it's going to be like a High Pro DSA. And you know what? It's genuinely lovely to use. It's really nice. It feels like it's hugging your fingertips. It's really good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it an awful lot.
The PBT on that feels absolutely amazing. And like the sound, because it's actually, I think it's supposed to be thicker than 1.5 mil. It's like 1.65 or something. It gives you like a really good, like, dense sound signature on the boards too. I love it.
Yeah. I'm going to try it on a few different boards. I want to try it on the J01 and try it on some other things as well. The only board I've tried it on so far is the E6B2, but it sounded great on there. So yeah. Yeah, should be good stuff.
Mr.
Munich says that I missed it. What Keycap says it's Cat Alpha, which is. To be honest, I've been blown away by how good it is. I think it might be my second favourite profile after Cherry.
It is my second favourite after Cherry, absolutely.
Yeah. I need more time with it to confirm that, but that's the hot take right now.
Yeah. Hot takes featuring Top Clack. There you go.
Yeah.
Cat profile. I really want to run a set in Cat profile too. Like,
you should.
So bad. All right. Anyways, I didn't have an insanely epic mail week, but I did get.
No.
Well, I mean,
it's pretty epic.
What I got was cool, but it's also not really for me. So it's it's kind of a thing. So I'm not really going to show them off. I'm not going to take them out of the packages or anything at the moment, because you'll see why momentarily. But I got some fun little artisans by CYO Keycaps, and he sent a few different sculpts and some sweet blanks. And we're actually going to be giving those away. So shout outs to him for letting us give away some artisans. We will hit you guys with that giveaway very soon. We already have a little Google form up for it. Really easy to enter. You know, really simple stuff, just good stuff. And there's pictures of the caps in there, so you can take a look at them at your leisure. Which you know, we're actually gonna pretty much move into right now. Actually, we'll start with that since we're already here talking about it. Can you get the link in chat?
Yeah, I've got the link. Don't you worry about it.
You are a gentleman. When it comes to links, I think you are probably you are the strongest poster of links I've ever seen in my life.
I'm not sure if I'm going to put that on my CV or not, Brian.
No, I need you to.
For the support.
You need to put that on all your resumes. You gotta make sure that they know that I said it too, like, because that's
right. Okay. Brian from Top Clack says, "I am the best link posterer of Top Clack."
Yeah, posterer even. That's good.
Posterer.
That's good. Yeah. That is absolutely amazing. So check out that Google form there, guys. You can enter that. It's going to be open. Oh, I forgot to actually put it in the doc, but I will after the stream. It's going to be open for about a week. I'll close it right before next week's episode, and then we'll do the RNG before then. So I'll have the winners announced publicly on the next episode of Top Clack. So pretty easy stuff, guys. You know, if you want some neat little artisans by a nice dude, the blanks in particular, I really freaking love. These are all like they're all like monochrome kind of things, so he's got a black and white theme for all these, so this will be like really cool on stuff like white on black, black on white, GMK monochrome, you know, minimal, stuff like that. Should be pretty darn awesome.
Yeah, so the guy actually sent me some for Red Sam as well to go on the JO1 after he saw my build stream last week, and I don't know how well this is going to come across on stream, but oh my god, these caps are so cool. He's managed to match the colours almost perfectly, so I'll share some pictures in chat of that later on as well.
Yeah, it's showing off anything on a webcam is like absolutely awful always.
It is.
I'm like, look at this, and I'm like, oh, I'm stupid. Why am I doing this?
It's better than just talking about it and not showing it. At least we're proving it's real, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, guys, make sure if you want to enter that little giveaway, you just click on that Google form in the chat. I'll also post it in the announcements channel of the official Discord after the stream, like we usually do. It'll be open for about a week. Easy peasy stuff, guys. Make sure you get on there, show him some love, and thank him for donating some caps to give away. So, awesome stuff. Next on the announcements doc. Yeah, we have a little announcement section now, guys. We're getting slightly more professional. Our good friend, our buddy Taehatypes, aka Nathan Kim, finally made partnership on Twitch. So
aka Sir Nathan Kim. You remember United?
Sir Nathan Kim. Yes, that's right. So this is big for our community because as far as like content creation studios, especially Twitch streams, for the keyboard community have not really been a thing until a little bit more recently. Top Clack's been around for a couple years now, and Tiny T has been streaming for even longer. But as far as the kind of stuff that we do, it's still relatively fresh, still relatively new. Yeah. So for someone from our awesome community to make partnership there is a really big deal, guys. So make sure you go check out Taehatypes on Twitch. You sub to him, follow him, and all that good stuff. He's a really nice guy. He does awesome content, really, really high production quality stuff, like way better than everything else in the community right now, if I'm being honest, basically. So, yeah, shout outs to him, Sir Nathan Kim, for putting in all that effort and all that hard work and actually getting to where we all hope to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's worth calling out that we talked about this on stream, I think it was either last week or the week before, but streaming is still relatively small within the community. So the fact that someone's managed to make partner on Twitch so early in the career is just fantastic. It's so good, and it just shows how popular the community can be and how supportive the community can be as well. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic to see. And big shout out, Nathan. Well done, man. Really, really impressed, and really happy that you got there, dude. Yeah,
only uphill from here, man. He's going big places. And in all honesty, too, it's when it happens to people that like actually deserve it, like actual cool, genuine people that have like a desire to help people and are just so good at entertaining, like Nathan is, like. It's extra icing on the cake. It really is.
Absolutely. Got to agree. Yeah.
So, heck yeah. Shout outs to him. Good stuff. We have one more thing on our announcements doc here. We have a little bit of a promo going on with store.projectkeyboard.com, which Jay has posted the link for right now. And right there you can buy some very interesting tray mount plates in various materials and things that we haven't really seen a whole lot of before so far, with like Palm, FR4 in terms of tray mount plates. These are all relatively new, which is pretty cool. You can also get carbon fiber, as well as polycarbonate. So you can get you get some sweet tray mount plates, and if you use promo code TOPClack, that's it's actually one word there. That promo code I believe is one word, so no space in between top and clack.
Nice. Yep.
Yep. It'll get you $10 off your order there, and it'll also give Top Clack $10. So that's another way to support Top Clack. Maybe if you're in the market for a tray mount plate and you want one of those slightly lesser known materials for your tray mount case, think of it as an option potentially, especially if you want to help benefit Top Clack. So bam, there's that. Shout outs to Project Keyboard out there. We appreciate this promo going on, and yeah, make sure you get in on that if you're looking for a plate.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, and now I'm gonna hopefully not butcher the stream transitions here. This is where we're gonna start our Mech Madness segment here, and I just noticed that the bot just now pinged the Discord.
Yeah, so it's about 15 minutes late. Yeah,
that was about a 20-minute delay. That was about a 20-minute delay. That's brutal.
Was it last week or the week before when it did it like a minute after we went live as well? It's so inconsistent. It's brutal how much of a gamble it really is. It drives me nuts, honestly. But I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Anyways, yeah, so we're going to start our Mech Madness segment here. So let me just before we do, shout out to Talisman Solutions with the 1,111 bits as always. He's storming away into the lead and really cleaning up on the bits chart at the top of the screen there. So yeah, thank you very much. We really appreciate your support, Talisman.
Absolutely, always. We definitely greatly appreciate that. So we're going to... Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a little... All right, so that's going to be our little intro video here, and if you guys aren't maybe familiar with Mech Madness or what's going on, you might have been living under a rock. But you know, we'll let this little video hopefully tell you a little bit about it. This is pretty hype, guys.
Coming in with the top flow, about to kill the whole scene, El Chapo. Yeah, they want me to quit, but I won't go. Making these haters so sick like mono, man. You can never stop my shine, you can never kill my vibe, no. Everybody still young, so but you gotta see the king that's on my side. On the beat, on reckless, no half stepping. People need the music and the people need the message. Why stop now? Cause you know your boy destined. What can prosper against me? No weapon. No, I'm far from average. Got healed by faith, don't need no manager. Bring a lot to the plate like Sonic Cash. With a side of cornbread, whipping up the mac and cheese. And I know I've been gone for a minute. They threw dirt up on my dreams, but I'm about to go get it. This one right here for the team. Kyrie Irving drink threes from the screen. Only thing is I stuck with the king. We on our way to another ring. Youngin' and I'm getting it. Youngin' and I'm getting it. I'm a youngin' and I'm getting it. The young one on the mission. I'm a youngin' and I'm getting it.
What do you guys think of that? That's like production value, right? That's hype. That is freaking hype.
How cool.
I had chills. How cool is that? I had chills when I first saw that hype video. That was pretty good, right? You guys like that?
I'm still humming the tune as well since I watched it a couple of hours ago. It's just in my head.
It's catchy. That was good. Yeah. Courtesy of Dixie back there putting that little video together for us. Awesome stuff.
Yeah. Well done, Garrett. That was really good fun. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. And, I totally forgot actually. Man. Hopefully I'll be on the ball more of this next week. But bam, we got a little logo there too. Yeah, there we go. So
there we go. That's it.
Heck yeah, guys, get hyped. Mech Madness 2019. So let's talk a little bit about this. So obviously, the tournament has started. Predictions ended at the end of last month, at the end of February. So there's no more predictions anymore. The brackets are set. Now we're actually just moving on through the tournament, and we got a few things to take note of because there's been a lot of, I guess you'd call them upsets. There's been a lot of upsets. There's been a lot of upsets. There's been a lot of interesting notes to take note of. So obviously it's a bracket style tournament, and you know, key sets go up against each other and win and lose, and keyboards go up against each other and win and lose, and the ones at the end are the champions. So yeah, so if you guys haven't been following this, you can go to Dixie Mech on Instagram. That's where the actual tournament has been happening, in the Instagram stories on Dixie Mech. And he's been having the matchups there. You can vote there. It'll show you who's winning, who's losing, etc. Pretty easy, pretty simple stuff. It's been pretty darn awesome, though. I've been really enjoying it. Obviously, I have an absolute perfect bracket, and I never make mistakes.
You liar, Brian.
But,
you lie.
Yeah, my bracket is no longer perfect. In fact, I think I've missed 5 things already between the 2 brackets, which is really unfortunate. But I think other people are wrong and I'm right. So.
Okay. The other interesting thing as well is that we're still in round 1. We're 7 or 8 days into it now. 8 days for me, because it's the 8th of March where I am right now. But we're still in round 1, so all of these are still only worth 1 point. But as we get through the rounds into 2, 3, 4, and 5, we start to double up the points as well. So over the next couple of weeks, points are going to start coming thick and fast. So in the next round, it'll be 2 points per matchup, and then 4, and then 8, and then 16 in the final round before we get to the winner. So points are still there to be earned, guys. If you've had a couple of bad entries, that doesn't necessarily mean you're out for the running for any of the prizes.
Yep, absolutely. As long as you start winning soon, you could you still have a chance to win some serious prizes. So round 1, you know, not too big of a deal, but you know, 1 wrong vote can actually just mess up your whole bracket, basically. So it's tough, man. The odds of actually getting a perfect bracket are insanely low. And we're actually gonna talk about that in just a moment. But let's take a look at what has already been happening throughout the week since it has started already. So most of the matchups in general have been getting on average about 400-ish total votes, which is pretty reasonable. But you know, a lot more people than that actually made predictions. So it would be nice if we can actually see those numbers grow a little bit, and hopefully throughout the tournament we will see that. That kind of user base grow a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
No surprise here, GMK Olivia has the biggest win so far at a total of 90%, absolutely crushing DCS Midnight by a massive 456 to 51. So that
did you predict that, Brian? Did you get that prediction right?
Of course I got that prediction right. You know you got to go with your girl Olivia.
Absolutely.
GMK Olivia is just such a quality set. I don't think anyone's really surprised there. It's kind of a reoccurring theme that cherry profile sets are going to beat out non-cherry profile sets. That's been almost 100% of the true this time. So
we'll talk about that in a little bit, won't we? So
yeah. So we've had a couple nail biters too. Not everything's a total upset or a total absolute slaughterhouse. So this one actually hit me pretty hard in the bracket. So the Southpaw full size lost 237 to 223 to the Chiwi 60. So there was a 14 vote delta there. And oh man, that was the start of my prediction nightmare. I really thought the Southpaw full size was going to convincingly beat out the Chiwi 60, but it didn't. Chiwi 60 coming up clutch there, so I know quite a few people were a little upset about that because it hurt their bracket.
I think it was the first big upset of the competition. To be honest, it was the first real one that no one had a feel for, and there was a lot of got backwards and forwards on the Discord about it as well. So I got this one right. I will hold my hand up and say I went for the Chiwi 60 on this one. But my approach to my pick was more to go with what I liked rather than what I thought the community would go with, which I think
I did the opposite. I voted strictly based on what I thought the community would vote for.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think one of the other interesting ones was really close between the Kira 96 and the Dora 67 as well. So the Kira 96 lost 238 to 228, which was only a 10 vote delta as well. So another really close matchup between the Kira 96 and the Dora 67 as well. Did you get that one right, Brian? Did you go for the Kira on that?
I did go for the Kira on that one, I think. So I lost that one as well. Yeah, I'm all talk, guys. When I say I was going to get a perfect bracket, clearly I was wrong. You know, I will eat some humble pie on that one. There was another nail biter that I actually got wrong as well, which was the Jur A06 actually beating the Time TKL. That one was back and forth for a while, but in the last couple hours, it won 255 to 241. So only another 14 vote delta on that one. That one was back and forth for the entire time almost.
It was. This was the first one that was going to break my perfect bracket, and I just kind of gave up after I'd seen the verts and the Jer was behind and the time was ahead, and I was kind of like, no, it's not going to happen for me. I'm not going to be there. It's not going to be there. And then I was really surprised when I checked the next morning, and the Jer had made that win. So I was really happy with that one. But again, really close. 14 votes out of 400. It's really close. That's not a big difference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, just a fun fact, guys, GMK Necro is the only GMK set in the bracket to lose to another profile, losing 281 to 222 to DSA Light Cycle Round 2. So the first GMK set to lose to a different profile is GMK Necro. Besides GMK N9TU1-CR, which is a very specific 40% layout GMK set that obviously isn't going to compete popularity-wise with the more keycap rich GMK base sets that we're used to.
Yeah, Brian and I were talking about this earlier on, and whilst it is a set in its own right for 40%, it's not really what we'd class as GMK set because it won't cover most boards. So we're not really surprised by that one. It's kind of an unknown one, and I mean, as I said to Brian before the stream, if someone had asked me what the name of it was, I'd have just said it that set that Evans ran, because I couldn't remember N6TU1-CR off the top of my head. It's not something that'd stick in my mind, and I think having a really good strong naming convention for some of these sets does help. Yeah,
absolutely. So as you know, to no one's surprise, the amount of perfect brackets has been severely dwindling since the start of the competition. So
should we take these in alternating order, Brian? Should we go through these in alternating order? You do one and I do one, and we'll go through these.
Yes, but let's start with how many people actually entered, how many predictions there actually were. I don't actually have the exact number, and I feel stupid for not having it, but I know it was around 1,300.
I can tell you in a second. I think
maybe if Dixie's in chat, he can give us that number real quick.
So there was 625 keyboard predictions, and there was 744 key set predictions.
Okay, so well over 1,300 predictions total.
Yep.
Day one had that number of perfect brackets drop down to 487.
Wow.
So we lost almost 2/3 of people on the first day as far as perfect brackets are concerned. That's a big drop.
It's a massive drop. It's a massive drop. And then day two is where the Southpaw hit in. And the big upset there was that number dropped from 487 down to 157. So another nearly 2/3 slashing off the top of the pile there. It just decimated that number.
Yeah, it absolutely nuts how fast this is being reduced. And it only gets more insane. Day 3 saw a drop from 157 down to just 26. Just 26 on day 3. That's how many perfect brackets were left.
Yeah. So that's another 131 down. Day 4 was fairly positive. From 26 perfect brackets, we went down to 23.
Only lost 3. That must have been an easy day.
Only lost 3. Yeah, it was a fairly easy day. If you go back and look at it, there's some fairly easy matchups. I'm not surprised no one got them wrong. That was where Olivia was and things like that. So that was kind of expected.
A lot of more expected, predictable wins on that one. Yep. And then day 5, we had down to 13 from 23. So we're down to about 1% remaining. A little less than 1% of predictors still have a perfect bracket.
Which is crazy because we're 5 days into a 30-day.
And that was no. It gets better, Jay. It gets better.
I know.
Why don't you tell us how many are correct after today?
Well, I'll give you a clue, guys. It's not even in the double digits. It's not over 10. It's not 9. It's not 8. It's not 7 or 6. It's just 5 perfect brackets left. 5 people have perfect brackets at the moment.
It hasn't even been 7 days, and we're down to 5 perfect brackets.
Yeah,
5.
Just
yeah, like if this hand is like the people like making predictions, and this hand is the grand prize of the Bauer prototype, this is what's happening right now. So, you know, I really think that Bauer prototype is pretty darn safe from being won, because, you know, to be able to do a perfect keyboard and a perfect key set bracket, the odds are just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But, you know, I really still hope I really hope someone still is able to do it. I'd really like to see someone just absolutely nail the bracket perfectly.
Yeah. If we get one person that can make it through the whole week, I'd be really happy with that, given how close we are on day 6. So I would like to see that. And yeah, if we get one person, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but I'd like to see it. If we even get one person through round 1, which I know goes past the whole first week, but if we can get one person through just round 1 with a perfect bracket, maybe I'll sort something out of my collection as a little bit of a prize anyway.
Yeah, and Redbeard in chat asking if I still have perfect brackets. Nope.
In his head, it says. In his head.
I missed 1 on the key set, and I missed 4 on the keyboard bracket so far. So I've already had 5 incorrect predictions, because as most of you probably know, I am all talk. So you know, I couldn't quite do it, guys. couldn't quite do it. But that's what's going on right now. That's what's happened this week, and you know, hopefully we'll see some more interesting matchups in the coming week. It's only going to get harder, right?
Yeah.
Because as the, you know, I hate to say they're weak links, but as the weak links kind of get sifted out, you know, and you're left with a lot more of the stronger contenders, a lot of the GMK sets, a lot of the nicer custom keyboards that people have been liking and voting on. It's only going to get more and more epic and more intense, and holy crap, am I excited for it.
Absolutely. There is some, though, that I think next week might be slightly easier to pick between. I think one of the big matchups next week is going to be the Zeno going up against the Chiwi. I don't know if that's a foregone conclusion or not. But then we've got some really close ones. So we've got the number 1 and the Q going up against each other as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how those play out. There's some that could be big wins, and some that could be big upsets, and some that could be really close as well. So it's worth keeping your eye on, guys. Worth keeping those votes coming in, checking out Dixie Mech's Instagram, checking out his stories as he posts them up there, and making sure you vote.
Yep.
So
make sure you guys vote. That is definitely very important.
Absolutely, yeah. All
right. Also, shout out to Rumai Brick for the subs. Appreciate that. And Talisman Solutions gifting another sub to Chubby SX. So thank you very much for all that, guys. Appreciate that.
83 gift subscriptions. That's just crazy.
He's a monster. He leads the leaderboard in bits and donated subs. So
yeah. Wow. Just.
Got me sweating. All right, so that is going to end this week's segment of Mech Madness, but of course we'll be back next week with another segment of Mech Madness. We can get into the nitty-gritty of what goes on over the next week, and it'll be good. It'll be really good.
Absolutely.
All right. And now we will take a little step back into normality here, and we will jump into our news doc, which is pretty epic. There's a lot of really interesting things happening this week.
The first thing is probably the most interesting.
We're gonna start off with something absolutely ridiculous.
You personally, because this is just absolutely crazy. It's unbelievably insane, is this?
Yeah. So this is an interest check for the TR dot, aka the Transformer. This is by user or company 9Fox, and I'm gonna scroll. I don't even need to say words. I'm just gonna scroll through a couple of these renders and let you guys look at this for a second. This picture in particular is just asinine.
Insane. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So let's take it down to the basics here. What is this keyboard? Because this is quite something.
I think Transformer is a pretty good name for it to start off with. Because when you look at it, this is a multi-modular keyboard that can do pretty much anything you want to throw at it. It can be a 60%. It can be, it can have macro pads on there. It can have FRO keys on there. It can nest inside a motherboard. It can have attached wrist rests. It can have thumb clusters. It can be separate. It can be together. It can. I mean, I don't even want to know how many options there are for using this board, but there must be quite a few different variations and layouts and things that you can do with this. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, this is gotta be one of, if not the most nuts keyboards I have ever seen in the community in general. So let's take a look at some of the specs that we know so far. For starters, It is a wireless split keyboard. Left hand and right hand are both communicating using Bluetooth 5. Each switch has RGB backlighting. The keyboard backlighting is also supported. The mouse stick module is optional. It is using hot pogo pins, which I'm not even sure what those are, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so pogo pins are like the... I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's another board called the DC01, which is run by Mech boards from the UK. They also use pogo pins, and effectively what they are is they're a four-pronged connector that just pushes up against the board, and as they push together, that connects and completes the circuit, and as you pull away, they kind of spring apart. So it's kind of... it's almost like a cable connector without the cable supporting it and how it's supported. It's just two surfaces meeting flush and then being able to transmit and data between them. So pogo pins are really good for hot swap. You can kind of pull them apart, push them together, and they just work kind of out of the box. They're a really good little tool. And they have something stupid like a 10 million connect and disconnect life cycle as well. So they're really robust.
Gotcha. Makes total sense to me. All right, so we also have 6061 aluminum for the top case, pretty standard stuff there. Polycarbonate for the bottom. The reason they're doing that is mainly for the Bluetooth signal, because Bluetooth can have some issues passing signal through aluminum and other metals. So polycarbonate definitely helps with that. So that's the choice there. There's multiple modules. There's more of a motherboard and a child board, as you can see in this picture. Down here at the bottom, this is probably what they're referring to as the child board. It's kind of like a 65% keyboard that's split, low profile, integrated plate, all that kind of stuff. And it's simple, right? There's nothing too extreme going on about it. But then you can start putting it in the larger enclosures, and that's when it starts getting a little bit more ridiculous.
Yeah, and effectively it just slides in and uses one of these hot swap connectors inside the main housing. So you've kind of got a 60% keyboard that splits in half, so you can put it into two halves, and then you can put those into two halves of what becomes an extended 65% keyboard, effectively, with an FRO and a macro row. So all of a sudden you've got two massively different keyboard propositions there, depending on what your use case is on your desk, and frankly it's just insane.
Yeah. It does have a 7-degree typing angle, and it does use USB-C, so those are pretty nice to see. This is crazy, right? Like, and I'll be honest, Jay and I were actually talking a little bit about this keyboard before the stream, and we were talking about, is this even going to happen? Is this project too extreme to actually come to fruition? What do you guys think in the chat? Is this something that can actually happen? Let's think about price here. How much is something like this going to cost? Look at this picture. Look at this breakdown on the second picture here. This is absurd how many items there are to this build.
Yeah, because you've got two PCBs, you've got two base plates for the or two bottom cases for the internal 60% board. You've got two integrated plate top halves for the 60% board. You've got two wrist rests for the larger board. You've got two motherboard top casings, two motherboard bottom casings. You've got two different options for the mouse trackpad thing in the middle. There's just an absolutely insane number of pieces of parts that go to plug this all together. It's just absolutely a mammoth undertaking.
Yeah, I spent probably 30 minutes looking at this thread, just trying to imagine how much this is going to cost, and I really think this is probably going to be upwards of $1,000 if you get the full like experience. Which, I mean, come on, you're going to want, like, if you're going to get this thing, you want to go all the way on it, right?
And I think if you look at it, right, so if you said, what's that split 60% going to cost? We've got a couple of examples of those in the community now. Generally, they're talking a little bit more expensive than a normal 60%, so you're talking somewhere in the region of $500-600. But then you've got another whole case that fits around it, that it slides into, that it nests into. Which again is bigger. It's got more material to it, or more certainly more work to mill into it, and a second integrate plate in that setup as well with separate PCBs. So that's good. That's going to double the price easily. I can see this being well over $1,000, and that's before we've even started to talk about the wrist rests and the fact that you've got multiple materials in the build, the polycarbonate bases and the aluminium tops, and also got those mouse cluster pads as well. So I think over $1,000 is where the safe bets are.
And let's how insane does this PCB have to be to have this much modularity going on as well?
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
There's a lot of work going on in the background.
Just to be able to slide portions on and off, having so many of them is just it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and
it's really really cool though. It is really really cool. I honestly believe that.
Want it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would love to buy one of these. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford one, probably, but I would love to buy one of these. And I'm really hoping that they actually get a prototype made, and we can actually, see this kind of progress, even if it's not very quickly, because I just want answers to some of these questions.
Yeah, and that's going to be the real trick, I think. If they can get a prototype that not only fits together but actually works and they can show it working, that's what's going to really turn people around on this one. Instead of just looking at it in awe, they're going to look at it as an actual opportunity to own something that's this crazy. I don't even know what configuration I'd want to use it in if I did own one.
Yeah, I think I would do the full enclosure with a mouse, the mouse button on each side. So you have two.
Oh, the split, yeah.
I think that could be pretty cool, honestly. I don't know what I'd use like the second mouse for, but I would probably I imagine it can be programmed to more or less whatever you want. I think that could be pretty darn awesome. But let's take just a quick step away from this keyboard for a second. Let's just talk about modularity in the hobby. As just in general. Is modularity something that people really, really want or need in this hobby? Because we haven't really seen a whole lot of it. We've seen, renders and interest checks come and go, but nothing really happens in terms of modularity in keyboards. You don't really have a lot of plug and play physical components for keyboards.
I guess there's two separate questions. I think if you make it, will people use it? Yes, absolutely. If you can make it and you can make it at a price point that's attractive for it, people will buy it and people will use it. Is it needed? Is it something that the community is crying out for? I'd probably argue that it's not, but that doesn't detract from how much thought and effort has gone into this design. And clearly the person who's designed it would have some sort of use case for it. So I think the other side to this as well is kind of we're in a position where the community is trying new things. We're expanding a lot. We're doing new things with key sets. We're doing new things with keyboards. We're innovative. We're creative right now. We're in that kind of space as the community is growing. So I think if there's a time to do it, it's now. I think if anyone's going to try and do something as bold as this is the right time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it's innovation for the sake of innovation, which is not necessarily a bad thing at all. So this could be a really cool thing. I think I think this implementation is kind of extreme, though, and that's kind of what leads me to believe that it might just not ever happen. I'd almost like to see something like this on a slightly more basic scale. Like, let's say you have a 60%, right? A very simple 60%, and you have a 10 keyless enclosure or a full size enclosure that you can slot it into, and that's it. Like, keep it. You know, the modules pretty minimal. Just do something that people are already kind of familiar with. Let's say, you know, while you're at home or while you're at work, you just leave your, you know, you leave your TKL, your full size quote unquote dock or motherboard there or whatever, and you want to take your keyboard home to game with or whatever. So you just slide out your 60% portion, you take it home, you're gaming, whatever. Like, that's what you like to do. I'd like to see something like that happen because it's probably going to be easier to implement than something like this, and it's also going to be a lot less expensive. People are actually going to be willing to pay the price, because obviously there are people in this community that have a lot of money, honestly, and they're totally willing to spend on really cool things like this, but not for the everyman, you know.
No, I agree. It's not for the everyman. I think do you know what this kind of reminds me of, and kind of what you said there led to it. But a couple of years ago, there was a couple of not group buys, but actual products that you could buy, where you could put your Mac keyboard and Mac trackpad and Mac mousepad all together to make one giant, effectively, keyboard. It was like a CNC milled frame that you just slotted your keyboards into, and then it just connected automatically and did everything that it needed to do. This kind of makes me think that, you know, it kind of reminds me of that kind of approach as kind of like a docking station type thing, but for keyboards. But this one has the added functionality that the dock itself has got extra keys and God knows what else built into it. So I think it's just an extension of that kind of stuff, and it's an extreme interpretation of what it could be. I genuinely suspect that if this does get any further than just an interest check, that what it'll be a very simplified version of what's there. It won't be as complex as is shown in the interest check. I think they'll have to simplify it to get it to a price point that's affordable and palatable for a lot of the community.
Yeah, I think that's probably most likely what's going to happen. Or maybe we'll just be completely proven wrong and these guys will absolutely nail this and there'll be no problems, and somehow they'll sell them for like $400 and everyone will buy one.
I hope I am wrong. I hope I am. Wilbur just says they were so preoccupied with whether they or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. And it's a fair comment, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That could very well be the case here. I don't remember who it was, but there was another user in the community a year or two ago that was doing a lot of renders and interest checks for really obscure boards with really strange features, a lot of like sliders and knobs and stuff, before those kind of took off in the community. They're a little bit more common now, obviously, but he just had the craziest designs, and this kind of just reminds me of that. So I wonder if this guy might actually be involved with this project somehow.
Hey, maybe. I mean, I just want to see them produce something, and we can take it from there and see what's what it is. So yeah. And just shout out to 159 giving Wilbur a tier 1 sub. So thank you very much for that, 159, and well done, Wilbur.
Thank you.
Your tier 1 sub.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the thermal, we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
that is on the dock.
And Zach, I saw you in chat. We've got you as well, dude. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, we got a healthy news doc today. Very healthy.
Yeah.
So we'll have to pay attention to this. Hopefully something does progress here, and we get some more information about this somewhere, somehow, and this won't just be lost in a shot in the dark anymore. Because it really is a cool product. It really is.
Yeah, we just need to see something physical that works and proof that it works, not just a prototype that's not working. That's what it needs. It needs actual proof of a video of it working, I think, to really turn people onto it.
All right, let's move on. We have the group buy actually starting for the E6.5. We covered this interest check just a little while ago, but now Exclusive, being the quick manufacturer that he is, has quickly moved this into group buy, and people are joining it.
And close the group buy, because the group buy is now closed. So it's a little bit late for us to have this on document, but between last show and it's opened and it's closed because more people bought into it. So just the story behind that is he opened it up and he expected to get about 100 orders. He wanted to shut it down at 100 orders. He disappeared for a couple of hours, and when he came back, he had nearly 300 orders. So he has promised...
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's 287 orders or something, but some of those have multiple boards. So I think the total's just right around the 300 mark in terms of the number of boards that he's going to produce. He has promised to produce every board that he's sold. So we'll see how that goes and see if that extends the timelines. He's looking at that at the moment. I have been chatting to him a little bit earlier on today, and he is looking at whether it will extend the timelines and if he needs to bundle things up or slow things down a little bit. So yeah.
Salsa saying it closed in 8 hours. It was open for 8 hours. That is crazy.
300 boards in 8 hours.
That almost never happens in this community. Like, who sells 300 of like this caliber of board in that short a time period? That blows me away. That many people are, you know, can casually spend that much money on this board. I mean, not that it's a bad board at all or anything. It's probably quite lovely. I like a lot of the stuff Exclusive does, but you know, usually we're not used to seeing that many people drop that kind of money on a board that quickly.
I think what it does show is it shows that the community is growing and the community is becoming more affluent. And if you'd have done this, you know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you wouldn't have sold anywhere near 300 boards. It would have been
like 20.
You know, it'd have been 50 or something at most. Yeah. So it does just show how far the community is developing and how far people are coming and what people are willing to lay down and put down to acquire what they want. So I think there's, as I said, I think there's just shy of 300 boards and maybe just approaching 300 with the dual orders and things like that for the aluminium one, and the 10 full brass versions have also sold out as well. So yeah, they're all gone, guys. They're all gone.
Wow.
Did you join this, Brian? Did you jump on this one?
No, I did not. I have an E6 V2, you know, which I felt in some ways was relatively similar to this. So I didn't feel the need to own more of too similar of a style, but that's just me personally. I also prefer 60% over 65%, but I do think this is a very lovely board. Absolutely.
Yeah, fair. That's a fair comment.
Especially the polycarbonate version. I think the polycarbonate with like a brass nameplate, I think that is exquisite.
Yeah, that's what I bought.
Well, clearly you have some sense of style there, Jay.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, no, that's what I jumped on for. And I got 2 name badges as well. One that says Top Clack on it. So there we go.
Oh wow, nice, nice, very nice. So let's talk a little bit about the specs, even though people can't get this anymore, and obviously that's kind of a bummer potentially. But it did happen, like Jay said, within the last week. So that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, so it's polycarbonate or aluminium, unless you went for the full brass version. 5 degrees of angle on the board from a typing perspective. So it's fairly low slope, but it does have QMK with USB-C. RGB underglow, so if you've got the polycarbonate version, you'll have some lovely shiny lights as well. And then there was multiple options for the brass version with PVD around gold and rose gold and things like that as well. So there's the aluminium and PC kits were both $330 plus extras if you bought any extra badges or any other bits and pieces. And if you wanted to get that full brass version, that PVD brass version, it was $688. I was really tempted by that, but I decided not to in the end. I was very, very tempted, but now I went for the polycarbonate one in the end.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, the price on this was actually quite reasonable for like the more standard, you know, non-full brass versions.
I think, if I remember rightly, it's cheaper than the E6 V2. I think
I believe that is correct. Yeah. So this one starts at $330 for the aluminum or polycarbonate kits. So that's pretty darn reasonable, honestly. Can't really complain.
Yeah. And you can see there it says, when reach 100 orders, we'll close the link. And I didn't have.
Yeah, I like that it still says group buy closes March 9th, which is 2 days from now. So
yeah, but it's long being closed. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. If he's not able to handle, you know, too high of an order, then there's no point to force that onto him.
No, absolutely not.
Yep. It's also gasket mount too, right? I think we forgot to mention that.
No, you can choose. You can either build it top mount or gasket mount. It has.
That's right.
So what I intend to do on stream is build it top mount and do a bit of a typing test. Build it gasket mount, do a bit of typing test, and we can compare and contrast the two and see how it actually works in real life and how that feels. So because my thought on this is that, and I talked about this on the JL1 build stream, if you're going to pick a mounting method for the board, then you should start and base the design around how you're going to mount the board. You shouldn't design a board and then pick a mounting method, is my kind of view and philosophy on that. So it's interesting that they added the gasket option after they designed the board as a top mount board. So I really want to see how well the gasket integrates into the board and how that feels, given the fact that it was an add-on. And there's probably a little bit of a debate around there was whether it was needed or whether it was added just to build hype. And is this the reason that sold so much because it was the most easily accessible gasket option on the market today?
Yeah, it's potential. Gasket is obviously becoming a lot more popular, just as we kind of predicted last year. It's not ridiculously hard to implement, and it turns out it's often fairly inexpensive. So doing gasket variations of, gasket mount is kind of a blanket term now. People obviously use a lot of different terminology, like burger mount and floating bagel or whatever. People have some like ridiculous names for some things, but
isolation mount. Yeah. No, the terminology does make me cringe a little bit, because we tend to put gasket as a wrapper around different ways of using gaskets in boards, and I think that there's different philosophies on how you implement it will affect the board in different ways. So whether you want to affect sound more or feel more and different things like that. So I think the community is probably going to end up developing different names for different types of implementation over the next couple of years. I think that's what we'll start to see. So that'll be good when we get some differentiation and clarity, and you'll be able to tell from the name of the type of mount it is that how the gasket is implemented.
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, you guys can't join us anymore, unfortunately, but you can look at this beautiful picture with GMK Serica on the polycarbonate version. That is a beautiful board.
Yeah, it's one good looking board.
So
yeah,
these pictures are sexy. Just saying. Oh man. All right, so there is that. Next up, we have an interest check for, I'm gonna say the Irma, I think is how this is supposed to be pronounced.
The Irma, which is a UHMWWKL TKL. Or for those of you that want it in English, it's an ultra-high molecular weight plastic, win-keyless, 10-keyless keyboard. So it's a bit of a mouthful to get through.
Just a little bit. just a little bit. So what exactly does that mean? What is all that fancy terminology even used for on this board?
So basically, this is going to be milled out of a type of plastic that's got a really dense weight to it, so it feels heavier than what most plastics do. So it's not something we've really seen in the keyboard community before. We tend to see polycarbonate or acrylic and things like that. This is a kind of a different plastic, and it's manufactured in a different way. It is quite susceptible to warping, and it's usually used for injection molding and stuff like that, if I've read it rightly. But in this case, they are going to CNC mill it, and it should be a little bit more dense than some of the standard plastic boards that we've got out there. So it's a new material that we've not seen so far as I'm aware. Or if we have seen it, it's not been declared that it's this type of plastic. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
Definitely interesting. It almost looks like Korean in the very first picture. It kind of has that kind of like matte countertop almost appearance. But
I think
these are pretty bad renders, honestly. If I'm being honest, so like it's kind of hard to tell like anything about this board really, with what we have to work with here.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone earlier on who did renders about this, and he thinks they've just used a different type of plastic, probably POM, for the render material. But when you look at some actual videos and pictures on Google of UHMW type plastics, it does look quite thick and quite translucent. It's not quite opaque, and it's kind of moving towards that opaqueness, but it's not opaque. It's kind of semi-opaque. It's an interesting look, so it'd be quite frosty, and I suspect it'll look quite nice with some underglow and stuff underneath it. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like.
Yeah, maybe not too unsimilar to like the nylon bottom of an M65 or something, which kind of allows
light
that kind to pass through pretty easily.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Yeah. So the board is top mount at the moment, but he may switch it to sandwich mount depending on how the prototype goes. The other thing, so the designer behind this, he wants it to be quite a firm typing feel as well. So if he gets a prototype with a 4.8mm plate, the third option is it might end up with an integrated 4.8mm plate made of UHMW as well.
Very, very interesting. I wonder what kind of price we'd see here.
Well, in terms of affecting the price, it's a new material that isn't CNC'd very often, and it's been manufactured in the US. So I expect the price is going to be quite significantly high for this. But until that's just a guess based on the information we have at the minute. Yeah,
I think that's probably a pretty darn fair assessment. But we'll definitely have to stay posted on this, because new materials are always cool, right? You get a new plate material, a new case material, whatever, like different feels, different sounds. That's always cool. That's always fun to see. So we'll have to keep an eye on this, and hopefully this actually hits GB.
Just want to see more renders of it and get a prototype and see some pictures of it. One thing I do want to say, a bit of a shout out to Jax as well, who's running this, is he gives a bit of an update at the bottom that says when he runs a group buy or anything like that, he's going to provide updates weekly. So every Friday he's going to post an update, whether he's got news or no news or bad news or good news. He's going to post an update and keep anyone who's backed him fully up to date with what he's doing, how he's progressing, and communication is really important to him. So
yeah, that's good. Communication is unbelievably important in a group buy, even if nothing's happening.
Yeah. Even if there's been nothing changed, just the fact that the runner reaches out and says, "Guys, I know you're waiting for your boards. Nothing's changed this week. I'm still on target for the dates I gave you last time." At least you know it's still tracking to plan, right? At least you know nothing's going wrong. It gives you that confidence. Yeah.
As someone that joins group buys, I love hearing that. If I just get radio silence for 3 months, I don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah. And the fact that he's calling this out right up front in the IC and saying he's going to give updates on this timeline, irrespective of what's going on, whether it's good, bad, or no news at all, it's really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to something pretty interesting that I'm gonna have you pronounce so I don't butcher it quite as hard.
Just before we do, I just want to call out that Talisman Solutions has given away a few more gift subs today. I think I've seen 2 more since we last mentioned it. I don't think we've missed any subs, but I'm pretty sure that Talisman's giving away a couple more gift subs. So thank you very much, dude.
Yes, thank you so much. One of them was to NGB, and then another one was to Not Zesty Salsa. So we caught at least those 2. Thank you very much, sir, for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so just moving on then to this. So this is the Yves by Zekin. I think Zekin's in chat. I'm sure I saw his name earlier on. And this is a simple sandwich mount numpad with function row. So 24 keys, and it's very similar to the TGR Tris. And he says, pair this with your favorite TKL for a timeless combination, which is kind of a nice little tagline for this, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a relatively simple-looking numpad by the looks of it. And judging by this picture here, it kind of has the, I don't know what to call that. I guess you'd call that like a koala-esque kind of design. I think that was the first board it kind of saw popularity on. Where it's, it kind of has this flat bottom, but then it has just like a very gentle curve on either side here.
Yeah. It looks really nice. I like it, and I'd call it the koala bottom as well. That's what I'd go with. It's nice to see. He's got a prototype before he's put the IC up. That is fantastic. I like. Yeah.
That's rare to see, but it's fantastic.
It is. Yeah, I like the engraving on the back. That looks like it's really nice, deep recess milled logo on the back of the pad. It just looks really nice. It looks like it's really solid as well. And being sandwiched, feel really firm and solid, and it's going to be nice to hack your numbers in if you've got a lot of data entry to do or something like that. So yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, I like it. Simple, not too much going on. But
just looking at the stats. So the layout it offers, you can split the 0 key, you can split the enter key, you can split the plus key. So you've got multiple options in terms of how you want to lay the board out. So you've got all of the most common layouts for a numpad there as well, and plus you've also got that function row across the top, so you've got 4 keys across the top that you can use as a function pad too. Made out of aluminium, case anodization options in black, silver, and grey. Only solid colours allowed, no two-tone. And then plate anodization options in black, silver, grey, and red. So I think the combination he has in the prototype, the black and red, looks killer. So for me, if I was going to grab one of these, that would be the option I'd go for. Interest check timeline is 2 to 3 months. Group buy timeline is unknown at the minute, so I think Zekin's taking it slow. Wants to do 10 to 15 units, so keeping it small and simple for his first group buy. Yeah, and the PCB is made by AIO3 as well, so it's a Voyager 20 PCB, so good quality PCB manufacturer there, or PCB designer there.
Yep, and it looks like we have an ideal price of 125 to 175 USD. Which is pretty expected. I think 125 would be pretty awesome. I think 175 is starting to border on, at least for me, too much for a number pad. But then again, I am certainly not the target consumer for a nicer, higher end number pad.
I think what you have to consider with the price on this one is that if he does 10 or 15, it's a really small MOQ. That puts the prices up instantly.
Certainly.
So although 125 is a nice number for a lot of people in the community, I don't think 175 is stretching it for many, especially from someone who's as well known and respected as Zek is within the community too. So I think I think the pricing is completely fair, just given the fact that it's such a small, limited group buy. You're buying exclusivity on that product as well. So I think that's completely fair in my book.
I don't know why, but I've been really, really, really into when people put really, really like aggressively worded Q&As at the end of their interest checks or group buys. I don't know. I think it was I think it was like either Zambumon or Oblotsky did this recently too, and I really love reading this because this gets hilarious. Number 3, will you make slight changes to your design because I really like you to? No. Love it. This is kind of the kind of passion that we see from designers too. I know people like Zambumon who are just really all about designing what they want, designing it for them, and like anything else is just wrong and it's not supposed to be that way. And there's that's totally fine. It's totally legit, and there's a lot of merit in that. And so it's kind of nice to see this kind of summed up in a very simple Q&A.
Yeah, no, it's fair comment. Absolutely, the designer wants it to be how they want it to be, and that's fine and fair enough. I think you're right. I think it was Zambumon who did it with was it Jim K Tactical where he had that Q&A, I think, and it was really quite blunt and quite direct.
Yes, it was amazing.
Blunt's the word I'd use.
Yeah, I like seeing more of that. That makes me happy in an interest check. All right, so look forward to this coming to group buy phase, hopefully in the next couple of months, hopefully, if this timeline is to be believed. So,
if Zekin's watching, I'd be interested to know why he picked the name Yves as well, because that's really interesting to me.
Maybe, well, he says the same form factor as the TGR Triss. Is Triss have something to do with French design or whatever?
I don't know. I just get it in my head of Yves Saint Laurent, so that's just all that gets in my head. But if that's the inspiration, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I didn't know what that was before the show, and Jay grilled me on it for like 20 minutes straight. It was absolutely insane. So I'm clearly now an expert on that.
Yeah, we got into a whole debate about the design of the logo for Yves Saint Laurent as well. So yeah, it was an interesting discussion. But yeah, fair play, Zach. The name even got us talking. So yeah.
Yep, good stuff, man. Definitely wish you the best on this. Hopefully it turns out well.
All right. Absolutely, I'll be watching out for it. I think it'll be useful for work.
All right. Next up, we have an interest check for a very oddly named board. I'm going to say. The Uncertainty 60. Uncertainty 60.
Uncertain if I can post a link for this one.
That would be ironic.
I was just memeing, yeah.
Oh, it would have been better if you weren't.
No, I was just playing on the name.
Yeah. Anyways, so this is the Uncertainty 60, which is a tray mount kind of design going on here. I'm gonna show off some of these pictures. Go ahead.
This is Amado working in cooperation with KBDfans. interestingly, he says, except for designs, there is much possibility that much information will change. So I think this is very early days for it. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. But as you said, Brian, it's a standard tray mount 60% with an interesting weight design. What do you make to that weight design, Brian? Has it been off center and towards the head of the board?
I'm okay with it. I'm not in love with it, but I'm okay with it. It's kind of it feels weird to have it be like completely naked on most of it and then just have something on one side of it. But I don't know. I like symmetry generally speaking, but I'm okay with this too.
Yeah, I don't mind the asymmetrical design. It's more the fact that it's not in the center of the board that I dislike. I think where the logo is on the way I'm fine with, and I like that it's simple. I don't like the secondary logo option he's got with Uncertainty 60, fancy font with some other symbols on there as well. I think I prefer just the logo on its own. But I think I prefer it if
I disagree. I like the more complex version more.
Okay.
Okay,
you've just got. You're showing your poor taste today, Brian.
Well, I just like I like when there's like if there's gonna be engraving, like I'm more of a like you go all the way kind of thing, like engraving or milling out. I think that's awesome. There's so much space on the weight that you have to like do design work with, and like if you're not gonna try to go over the top designing your board, that's kind of where you can show a little bit more artistic flair is on the weight itself.
Sure. Just looking down some of the pictures, it's interesting. You can see how the weight mounts. It doesn't screw into the base of the case. It actually screws in from the sides. So there's 2 screw holes that hold the weight in place from the side of the board, which is just underneath the angled edge that gives you the ability to lift it up, kind of like a finger hold. As well. So it's an interesting design on how that's mounted.
Yeah, which is kind of strange because in one of these pictures, I'm gonna show it on stream here real quick. In this picture, there's no screw holes on the bottom for the weight. But there are screw holes on the bottom for the weight on this picture, but there are none on the side. Yeah. So we don't actually really know yet which design he's going with because he's showing both in this interest check.
Yeah, so having a look at this is because there's 2 different options for the weight. So if you go right down to the bottom, there's 2 kind of cutaway images. So one you can see that the weight actually follows the flush of the base of the board, and then the other angle is the same as the PCB, which means that the weight's significantly deeper. That's where it's mounted from the sides, and then there's a secondary option where it's just a flush flat plate where it's flat on both sides, and that bolts in from the bottom because you couldn't do that from the side because it's not thick enough to have screw holes in. So I'm not sure if that's just that he's got 2 options or if he's going to pick one or the other. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. People in chat giving me crap for the weight. I'm not saying I like the font, okay? I don't care what like the font on this is because like, I'm not going to be buying this anyways. I just like the idea of having more things going on artistically with a weight. And yes, sometimes less is more. All right, shoot me, whatever. Yeah, I get that sometimes having more on a weight is nice. I just think that the way that one's laid out, it's not for me. I much prefer the simpler one of the 2. Much prefer it. Yeah. As far as being choosy here, I think I do vastly prefer the design with the holes on the side for the weight. I think it gives it a little bit more character. It makes it look a little bit more unique versus just the more plain Jane kind of approach. Because otherwise, it kind of reminds me how the sorry, go on. Because like otherwise, this case, if I'm being honest, for me is not that interesting. It's very minimal. The top, if you're looking at it from top down, it looks like a Fiel. People love that chamfer. Like it looks almost identical. Like the size of the chamfer here plus the size of this bezel here. Like that is really similar to the Fiel. And then at the bottom, there's not really a whole lot going on. It's just kind of angled very normally. The weight, it's just one big brass bar, whether the design on it or not. So it's a very simple design. Whether that's good or bad is obviously going to depend on who you are. I think it depends on the price point as well. That'll determine whether it's good value for money or not, and value for money is what will drive whether it sells or not. So, if it's on KBDfans and it's at the right price, then I think it'll do just fine. Just going back to the screw holes on the sides, it really reminds me those screw holes on the sides of the M65, where the Irma board, where the base bolted in from the sides, and that's how you held it all together. Yeah, I liked that too. Like aesthetically, that was really it was nice. Yeah. It really added to the kind of industrial effect
of that design. So I thought it was very successful, and I think it could be here as well.
Yeah, so I think we need to see how it goes. Just reading about it, it says a word at the bottom. This keyboard is planned by me, who is a high school student in Japan, and I will do everything such as designing and shipping. He is going to get I'm sure I read somewhere in here that if the interest check goes well, he'll get a prototype, and he'll get that manufactured fairly quickly.
There's okay, so like you had mentioned, he's a Japanese high school student, and his English not always the best in this thread. So he does have kind of a price quote here that says, although it is with respect to price, although it is estimated, we cannot do it clearly, but it will not reach $400, estimated slightly higher, which I imagine that a lot of that is lost in translation here.
Yeah, I think if this was anywhere close to $400, it's not going to sell. I'll be quite honest. If you look at a lot of the other boards we get for $400, there's a lot more. You look at the E6.5 that we just talked about a few minutes ago. That's $330, and that's got significantly more chance of selling at that price than this would do. Realistically, I think this needs to be more in the standard KBDfans kind of price range. Challenging tofu prices for it to be selling.
I mean, obviously there's going to be a weight included. There's a little bit more design language going on here than something like a tofu. So I'd be okay with it seeing it around like $100, maybe $110, $120. I think that would still be relatively reasonable. But we're at this weird spot in the community where tray mount, for better or worse, is not very sought after. It's simple, it's easy to work with, it's often cheaper, but as far as pure typing experience goes, a lot of more experienced seasoned enthusiasts, they don't like it as much. A lot of them don't even like it at all. Some people just absolutely hate it. So it's kind of hard. Yeah. And I know a lot of people that just absolutely cannot stand tray mounts, and I totally get it. That's fine, preference. But
I think just on that, I think for me, I think the price for this needs to be somewhere around the tofu kind of price. And if you look at the tofu 65, I think that's $160, and then you've got the KBD 67, that's $180 or so. I think it needs to be underneath both of those to actually challenge the market.
You're comparing a full keyboard to just a tray case.
Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah.
Because
a normal needs to be in that kind of price.
A normal tray mount tofu case is $80. Whether you go aluminum or acrylic, it's $80 or like $88 or whatever. So it's relatively inexpensive, and I think we're kind of at a weird place in the community where like nicer tray mount cases are like they're few and far between. I'm not really sure like what kind of market there is for them. Obviously, you could argue things like the more recent TGR Singa Unicorn, but that has quite a bit more going on than just another tray case.
Well, yeah, it's tray gasket. It's got the Singer and the Unicorn names on it. I think that's a very different proposition. I'll be interested to see where this is priced. If it's anywhere near to $400, I don't think it will do very well at all. If it's closer to $150 or, as you said, Brian, $100, I think it will sell. So I don't want to write it off, and I wish the designer all the best. But I'm not quite sure it's for me, and I'm not quite sure I get what his intended target audience is either. Yeah,
well, I mean, we'll have to see. If he's going through KBDfans, he seems pretty confident about this, that it'll actually happen. So, we'll check it out again once the group buy actually starts, or once they stock it on KBDfans, and we can actually go from there.
Yeah, I think a lot will depend on the price as well, whether it goes for that big chunky brass weight or whether it goes for the thinner brass weight as well. That'll change the price significantly.
Yep.
So let's keep an eye on it and we'll see how it goes.
Yep, for sure. All right, what do we have next here?
Okay, so next we're jumping into another gasket board. This is the Volcano660, which is coming out of TNU Labs, and it's designed by Louis. So this has been knocking around for a while. I think, Brian, you covered the interest check late last year before I joined Clack. And I think there's been all sorts of videos. I think Louis shared them in the Clack Discord server a couple of weeks ago, some typing sounds. There's been multiple prototypes, multiple rounds of it, tons of renders. It's been a long time in the works. It's, as I say, a gasket mount board, but it's a different take on it. So it uses tabs on both the top and the bottom and the sides of the plate. and then it has gasket rubber strips above and below the plate to isolate the plate completely from the case. So it is kind of a different implementation from a lot that we've seen. There's a lot of information on it. Do you want to talk us through some of the stats on the board? I think specifications.
Yeah. So, like you said, there is quite a bit of stuff going on. It is gasket mount. It's going to be made from 6063 aluminum. You're going to have brass for the plate and the weight. He calls it an original gasket mounting design. He has it linked here. I actually haven't looked at this link, so this Google link here is a first for me. But we'll take a look at that in a second. He's got a 5-degree typing angle. He's got a net weight of 2.1 kilograms, aka a little under 5 pounds if you're using those American Freedom units. And he's got some interesting colors going on. I like how he names the colors. So he's got Volcano Gray, Quantum Blue, Electronic White, Carbon Black, Rose Gold, Wine Red, so probably more of like a burgundy. A forest green, and that's gonna be it for the colors. It is gonna be a QMK PCB also by Keyboard. So cool stuff.
Just going back to the colors. I do like it when designers name the colors and they give them a kind of, the colors are almost kind of themed. Then
love it.
like forest green is it's very evocative. I really enjoy it when instead of just saying, oh, it's green and it's blue. No, let's change the community. Let's go with forest green and quantum blues, and let's come up with some really fancy names. I think the last board that did this before was the Anzi, which had some really good names. Like I can't remember what they called the plum one that they did, but there was some interesting names on that.
Aubergine.
Aubergine, that's it. Yeah. Aubergine. Yeah.
It was great.
If you're in the US.
His colors were great on that. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so I think naming colors is a big win for me already.
So this is a great interest, or a great group buy thread, because he has all the information that you could possibly want. He's got a physical prototype, tons of pictures. He has multiple typing videos, one with cherry keycaps and one with what looks to be SA, I believe. Yeah, so, you can kind of hear how it sounds. I'm not going to play it on stream, but you guys can obviously go there and check it out. Spoiler alert, it sounds pretty darn good, as gasket boards tend to, in my experience. Yeah. So, this kind of looks like a winner to me, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I like the way it's designed. I like the fact that he's got fixed plates for different layouts. I like the price, $375 for the default or the polycarbonate kit. So that's either aluminium or polycarbonate. Slightly different prices depending on what options you select and things like that. But broadly around $375, and then $625 if you want a full brass kit as well. So following that exclusive type offer where you can buy a full brass version too. So lots to think about on there.
I think this is a really well constructed group buy. Like take a look at the plates here. So you have plate options here. You can go with the ONZ, or you can go with the ISO, and like the compatibility is like perfect. It's like basically a fixed plate, but you still have everything that you want.
Yeah, I do have some comments on the ISO one. It doesn't offer split left shift, which is kind of something it should do. It's not really.
That's fair. That's
true. It doesn't
yeah.
offer that. But no, I appreciate that he's got both designs in there. You know that I prefer that layout, so I'm always going to be.
Are you sure? Do you really? I never knew that you liked ISO. I've never heard anyone in the community talk about.
Really?
That. Yeah, never. Never.
No one else talks about it. It's just me. Yeah,
it's not a meme at all. Like. Anyways, like Jay mentioned, the price is going to be starting at $375 USD. That is presumably before shipping and PayPal fee. Yes, it is. So this board's still going to be well over $400 after the PayPal fee and shipping. But that'll be for your default aluminum kits or polycarbonate kits. So pretty cool on that. We get very equal pricing. If you want one of the full PVD brass kits, it's going to be $625 big ones in US dollars. And that's not that bad as far as I think it's fine. As far as like the full brass PVD boards that we've seen in the past by other designers. Yeah. This is as good or better a price than those. So pretty nice. pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think the price is fine for it. Yeah, so I'll be interested to see how that portrays if people do buy them. I'm toying with whether I get one myself or not. But the group buy does open on the 9th of March. It closes on the 14th of March, and then the invoice will be sent within 5-day period from the end of the 14th. Now, if you do want to get the PC or brass during the Google Form group buy, there is a little bit of change that you have to do. So I'm going to read this out, and then we'll talk it through. So many people are confused about the solution. I've discussed with many users in my Discord server, and here is a new solution. The group buy will be 2 different times, same day, 9th of March, but 1 hour difference. The first one will be PC or brass version. The second one will just be the aluminum version. The PC brass winners will be announced a few minutes after the PC brass group buy is finished. So all the participants will know whether you get in or get out. So if you don't get the first one, if you don't get a polycarbonate or brass one, then it does mean that you can then try for the aluminium one. So I think that's a fairly sensible way of doing it. He's splitting it out. He's making sure that everyone who wants to have a go gets to have a go at getting one of these. And if you don't get one of the brass or the polycarb slots, which I think is it 5 of the brass and 10 of the polycarb, I think I saw.
Yep. So 75 aluminum, 10 polycarbonate, and 5 brass, totaling 90 units. And someone in chat is saying 8 kilograms total weight for the full brass. That is nuts. 8 kilograms?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's like, what, that's 18, about 18 pounds?
Yeah, it's about that, yeah. Yeah, it's about that, yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's so heavy. But
it would be the heaviest board I had if I bought one by 1 kilogram.
This is a great looking board, though. I really do think this looks. It's simple enough. It's clean. It's elegant. It sounds great, judging by the typing sounds.
Do you know what? I think this is what 66 key keyboards have been waiting for a while. It's the first time we've had a proposition that looks to be popular for a 66 key board. A lot of the times people kind of look past them. We've had the Clue boards around for a while, which have done fairly well, but there's never been a top end one. They're probably the closest to a top end board that we've seen in this layout that I can recall is the Punchy, the Royal 66, but I think there were only 10 of those made, so it was quite limited. So yeah, it's nice to see this. This is what 66 keyboards have been waiting for, absolutely, to make them a bit more popular, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for just a second here while I bring up this picture of the polycarbonate version. And I'm not necessarily calling out this board. This is kind of just a general way of things, how this combination works for all boards, basically. But we have the polycarbonate version here. Obviously, brass plate. You got your gasket mounts. How do you guys, I'm talking to you guys too, chat, how do you guys all feel about being able to see all of the internal components here of a keyboard like this? Because in my opinion, it really adds to the aesthetic a lot, like, not in a good way. Like, this is actually kind of a negative look to me, being able to see everything on the inside. Yeah, I do not like this at all. And that was something I kind of learned on the Polycarb Singa when I built one recently. Just being able to see, like, parts of the inside, I don't think it's quite as nice. I wish it was a little bit less transparent, personally. But I feel like I'm definitely in the minority there.
You are, yeah. I would definitely disagree. I kind of like it. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of being a kid with my old Game Boy that had a translucent case, and it brings back all of those memories of being able to see the internal electronics and stuff like that. I like to see how things work. I'm mechanically minded, and polycarbonate kind of fits that bill. Plus, it sounds great too. I think polycarbonate keyboards just sound really, really good lately. So I love to be able to see the internals. I think it's really cool.
I definitely think it's unique, and if you like it, awesome. More power to you. Definitely just not for me. I think it just clashes too much. It makes it look so much less clean.
And that's fair. It's a fair comment. The world would be a boring place if we all like the same things.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I would definitely forego the polycarbonate version on this one if I were to join it personally.
Oh, really? I think if I was going to try and join, I'd want the polycarbonate one. I don't think I'd want the whole brass one.
I would, yeah. Aluminum for me.
I do want some. I would definitely want the polycarbonate one. So if I do go for this, I'll be trying to go for polycarbonate.
Yeah.
But given I've just bought the E6.5, I'm not quite sure if I'll do it or not. But we'll have a think about it. Just before we move on to the next discussion topic, shout out to Os Teppo with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much, dude.
Appreciate that.
I don't think we've missed any more, have we? We missed any more?
I don't. We've been really like in depth on these news topics. I didn't even realize it's 7:30 already. We've been on for an hour and a half, and we haven't even cleared the news doc yet. And we still have a fair amount of our news doc left. So Jay, you're in for the long haul tonight.
Yeah, I've in 30 minutes I've been up 24 hours. So,
well, the things you do for Top Clack, man.
The things I do for Top Clack, yeah.
People will never understand. All right.
No.
So just before we hop off this one, the group buy timeline, like Jay mentioned, it's going to open on the 9th of March, 8 p.m. Or wait, let me make sure I get this right. 8 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Eastern, depending on which version you want, on March 9th there. So there you go. It's not going to be open very long. It's only going to be a 5-day group buy, which is, better than an 8-hour group buy. But
I genuinely suspect that this will sell out all 75 units of the aluminium one within
probably
a few hours. I don't think it's going to be a long wait to sell these out. I think if you want one of these guys, you have to be ready to fill out that form when it opens up. That's kind of my advice on that one.
Yeah, I totally agree. You guys are going to have to be on the ball if you want this one. Group buy end date, it's only 5 days after, but it'll probably sell out before then. Then you'll be invoiced 5 days later. Shipping on that all brass one, oh my god, that's going to be killer. But obviously, if you're buying a $625 keyboard, you could probably pay for the shipping on a $625 keyboard.
Is $100 for shipping really going to bother you at that point?
Right, yeah. All right,
Okay. Should we move on?
Yeah. Let's move on here.
Okay. So next up, we've got a very, very interesting board that's been designed by Wilba. So this is the wilba.tech thermal, as you can see from the Keep Talk thread that we've got on screen at the moment. So I know Wilba's been teasing this for a while. I've seen it all over his Instagram. It's
been a long time coming.
Yeah, it has. I've also seen it all over Zambumon's Instagram page when he was doing Hamon. So I'm really glad that we've finally got to see this come to interest check finally. So instead of just being teased by renders, we're now actually finally getting to see what the board is. So as he says himself, it's inspired by brutalist architecture, vintage computers, and big black heat sinks. I completely get that whole design philosophy. I absolutely love the look of this board. It just so reminds me of growing up in the 80s. It just screams 80s to me, and I really, really love it for that.
Yeah, this is another winner for me too. It's just it's like it's elegant, but it's also just like so out there.
Yeah,
and I absolutely love it. Yeah, this is the winner for me.
Yeah, those big fins on the side, that chamfered edge, it just screams childhood to me. It's one of those boards that just evokes all of those memories of when I was young, and brings them back to me. It's just fantastic. So a couple of tech specs. So it's center USB. It's 60%. It comes in 60% or HHKB blockers, so you can have the blockers or not. Has a typing angle of 8 degrees. The plate is milled aluminium, bead blasted and anodized, and it's 1.5 millimeters thick. The plate comes in black, red, silver, or grey, and the board comes in black, red, silver, or grey. So it's fully designed by Wilba. It's manufactured by Zeal, so this is probably going to go through the same sort of production treatment as we've seen on the Zephyr and about to see on the Zeno. So it should be really high quality.
Should be very good.
Yeah, I can speak, and I know you can, Brian, for the Zephyr quality. It's fantastic.
So it's really good.
He's got a prototype on its way soon. Pre-order launch date is soon, and cost is going to be here soon. But the biggest interesting thing about this, and this is something that I want to talk about, and again, I know it's something that you were looking up and referencing just before the stream, Brian, but this is a new mount type. This is leaf spring mount. Which is something completely new, something that Wilbur's dreamed up and implemented inside the board. So what do you think to that, Brian? What do you think?
Well, like you had mentioned, I was kind of trying to figure out what it was before, because like you can see here in the actual interest check, he says plate mount style, leaf spring, details to come. So he clearly doesn't elaborate a whole lot on this. And unless I somehow missed it, I don't see any internal pictures with these renders.
There isn't.
So
no. I did reach out to Wilbur and ask him about this the other day, and he was very cryptic and didn't give me any clues whatsoever.
Sounds like Wilbur.
Yeah. I didn't expect anything else, but it was worthwhile asking. So I, as most of you guys know, I do a lot of one of my other hobbies is working on cars. So I understand how leaf springs work on a car. You have a burred piece of metal or a series of pieces of metals to make up a burr, and that burr then has flex and returns the wheel to its correct position to drive in. I'm assuming that this is implemented somehow on the board, but I can think of about 4 or 5 different ways of doing it, and all of them seem like they would have negatives to me. Now, I know Wilbur fairly well, and I know he won't have designed it to have any negatives, so he's done it something completely different that I can't even imagine. So I'm really interested to see how he gets this into the board and see how he shows it off. The way I was thinking of doing it is either you'd put it on the sides and have so down the left hand side and the right hand side you'd have the leaf springs, and then they would flex as you pressed and typed on the board. But given the mounting style and the fins, I don't think that's possible. You could also do it across the length of the board at the top and the bottom. Again, I don't think that's possible given how thin the bezels are up there. So I just don't know how he's implemented it, and I'm really interested to see. And I'm genuinely perplexed about how he's designed the board. So I really want to see some internals.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see an exploded view of this. I really want to see our exploded render like right now, like an hour ago, 2 hours ago, just to see what's going on here, because you know, gasket mount is still relatively new, and we've already seen it take off in popularity. You know, it's all over the place now. New mounting methods are something the community can totally get down on. You know, altering your typing experience with more than just switches and keycaps is all the rage right now. So,
and we should encourage it as well. The more creativity, innovation, and do you know what? If we try things that don't work well, I'd rather we tried them and had the experience of trying them than not trying them. So, like you said, the only thing I'm looking forward to with this board more than seeing that exploded view is typing on one.
Yeah.
I want to see how it feels.
This is going to be one of those things where I think I have no choice but to buy one.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
For multiple reasons. But yeah, that leaf spring in particular is going to be quite interesting. So it looks like, as far as layout goes, he's keeping it pretty darn simple. It looks like you're pretty much going to be only offered HHKB, if I'm reading this right. Fixed 7U bottom row. I don't see any renders.
You can have it with, he does say you can have no blockers, case top options, HHKB blockers, or no blockers. So I think you can have it as straight 60 as well.
Okay.
And it does use a Zeal 60 Rev 4 PCB, so it does add support for things like ISO and split backspace and full backspace as well. Now, he's not including that on the plates, but when I was speaking to him the other day, he did say that he would release the plate files if people wanted to get another plate made up. Or I'm pretty sure, I'm going from memory there, but I'm pretty sure he said that to me in chat. So I apologize if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he said that.
Awesome.
So I think that whilst you might not get the layout support in the group buy, it means you can then go and get another plate if I'm remembering that correctly, and you can have whatever layout you want. So Wilby, if you're there, if that's the case, just refresh my memory and say if you are opening the plate files.
Yep, he says yes. Cool.
Oh, okay,
awesome
cool.
stuff.
Yeah. So I wasn't lying. I was glad I'm not. So it does mean that I again can build one in my preferred layout, and we can all be happy, and it looks fantastic. And Wilbur, share more details, please. Share more details.
I'm pretty happy that it's coming with a Zeal 60 too, so you get that good RGB goodness, especially with the stabilizers. One of the things I like about the Zeal 60, which is really underrated, is the fact that he actually has SMD RGBs for the stabilizers too.
Yeah.
So love seeing that. You can get the Zeal stabs or something like that, transparent stabs with it to make it look even more glowy. You get a USB-C. You're gonna have QMK/VIA support with the configurator there, which is awesome because VIA configurator is amazing. And
it's so easy to use.
Yeah, and I want all of my boards to use it ever. So there's that.
Yeah, I think I suspect what Wilbur's doing is he's waiting until he's got the prototype before he releases details on how the leaf spring thing works. So, I mean, you know, hats off to him, big brain man. Because I can't even think about how you've put a leaf spring in here and actually made it work. So I'm already incredibly impressed.
Yeah, Wilbur, how long do we have to wait to see the internals of
prototype
this?
when? Prototype when?
We got to see how this works.
He says if Proto fails, we will never talk about leaf spring again. Fair enough. Fair enough. When's the proto due, Wilbur? Tell us when the
we got
prototype's in production now. Oh, it's in production now, so it's not far away. It's not far away.
Okay,
I think that this board is that interesting that even when we've got the prototype and it's still an interest check, we might bring this one back on the show before it gets to group buy to talk about it again, because I really want to see how that works.
We got to see the leaf spring more. That's going to be a hot take there. I think hot topic.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just want one already. I want to look down and see this on my desk because it just looks so damn good.
It's good.
So good.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. All right. But we should move on a little bit here because we still have several news topics to do, and we're already an hour and 41 minutes into the show.
I could wax lyric. We've only just finished keyboards. We're only just moving on to key sets.
Well, yeah. To be fair, though, keyboard was most of what we had this week.
Okay. Let's move on quickly then. I've got the link posted in the chat, so let's move on quickly.
Yeah, no problem. So this is going to be a group buy for SP SA 128K key set, which is this is kind of like your Adobe suite kind of stuff going on. So Photoshop and why can't I never remember what AI is?
Is it Adobe Illustrator?
Yes, thank you. So yes, so this was interest checked quite a while ago, and
yeah, it's a long time ago.
It's been a while, yeah. So
last year, I think.
It's been quite a while.
November. I'm just checking out. It was November, so it's not that long.
Oh really? I thought it was before then.
Yeah.
Huh.
I could have sworn it was last summer, but yeah, it was only November.
All right, well, fooled us both. So maybe if you're into the Adobe stuff, this could be something pretty cool for you. I think it's. Oh man, I hate to be like a hater because like I really don't like to be, but like, is this something that's gonna sell a lot? Like, are people gonna get used out of these side printed sub legends? Like, because I don't think they look that good, right? Or is that just
so
me?
I don't particularly like the implementation that he's got on these ones here, but I know that this set has been extensively talked about in China. There's the big support for it over there. I don't think they're going to have any problems hitting MOQ. I think Hock is just opening it up to the Western communities as well to try and get a few more sales or guarantee it tips over to maybe a lower price tier or something like that. Personally, I like you, Brian. I don't think either of these sets is for me. I don't mind using SA, but I'm not sure I like these colours or layouts particularly. As you say, the front legends don't. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at with the front legends. I'm not quite sure what the reference is behind them. I get that they're functions within Illustrator, but given the fact that we don't have QMK keycode commands for them, I'm not sure how useful they would be. But I think the pricing looks fairly reasonable at 75 units, which is what they're targeting. $162 for the base, and then $28 or so, $24 for the kits. I think that's fairly reasonable.
Is there a wait? Where is the kit breakdown? Like, where does it show you what's in the kit?
If you go onto the Google form for order registration, you can see all of the individual kits on there. It shows you them as you order them. So it shows you the base Photoshop kit, the base Illustrator kit. You've then got the Numpad kits for both of those, a spacebar kit, and then a Mac kit as well. So, and the Mac kit has keys for both in.
I hate being a bully, but those should also be in the thread, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, they should be in the thread. Absolutely. Interestingly, some of these have sold fairly well. So he updated it earlier on today, based on the 8th of March. So bear in mind that China are ahead of you guys in America. So it's already the 8th of March here. So it is there as well. They sold 53 of the Photoshop base kit, 90 of the Illustrator base kit. So they're already approaching that second lowest price drop for the Illustrator base kit, $150. And then some of the other kits have sold. All of the kits have sold fairly well, apart from the Mech kit, which is only sold 4 at the minute. So.
Yeah, it's honestly not doing that bad. The group buy started 2 days ago on the 5th, and it closes on the 20th, which is 13 days from now. So, to be only 2 days in and already at those kind of numbers, that's not too bad. Shouldn't be too hard to hit the 75 MOQ for that the base kit. I
think it's been open slight bit longer in China than it has been open here. But one thing that does interest me is this, and I know we had it a couple of years ago with Signature Plastics production timelines being quite lengthy, but that seems to have kind of disappeared recently, and it seems to be a lot shorter.
Yeah.
But looking at this particular one, it says he's assuming it will be made in December of 2019 and ship in early 2020. So it's a year from now when he's expecting the shipping to be completed.
So about right, yeah. We've been about a year out in the SA queue for a while now.
I don't know. I think some of the more recent ones have been a lot faster than that. SA green screen shipping now, and that was only 4 or 5 months ago. So I think I was under the impression that we drastically reduced that pipeline, but then again, I haven't joined an SP SA set for some time.
A lot of it is also like where it is in the queue too. So, like sometimes like a set will be in queue, but like the group buy won't have like started for it per se. Like you'll solidify your space in the queue, and then you'll talk about the set as well. So that has happened in the past. So that way you can kind of I think GMK does that too. Like you can just slot in the queue, wait a little bit, then put up the group buy so it doesn't seem as long.
Sure.
Anyways, so yeah, that is that.
Just before we jump on to the next one, can we just look at something that I've just been sent? So I think this is done by Nebulent. So I'm going to paste the link into chat, but can you just load that up, Brian, and get that on screen?
Whoa!
I just wanted to hear your reaction on that. How good is that?
I'm in DMG also. Like, give me that. Give me that. What color thermal do I get? That's the real question.
Custom Cerakoted one, maybe. That's just brought all my childhood back to me again. I didn't really get a chance to read Gio's message when he posted that, but I think Nebulent did that. But that looks absolutely.
This is a feels good, man. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you'd appreciate it, Brian.
You had to interrupt the key set topic just to get me to look at that. So yes, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it. Cool.
All right, so moving on a little bit quicker here, we have an interest check posted by Beat for EnjoyPBT Extended 2048.
Yes.
So this is kind of an AEK themed kind of set, I guess you could say, that particular, the Apple-ish font, I guess.
Yeah, so heavily inspired by the AEK keyboards of the 80s and 90s, I would suggest. I think he mentioned somewhere that he's also added icon mods. So I wanted to have something with a minimalistic but intuitive look, which explains why I've picked icon mods as well. So I can completely see where his inspirations for this has come from. I've got some AEK caps on a board that I use almost daily. This is PBT, it's cherry profile. I think this is going to do really well.
Yeah, I don't really see the problem. I mean, EnjoyPBT has been, pretty solid. A lot of people are pretty okay with EnjoyPBT caps. They tend to have pretty decent value, pretty good price to performance. So you can't really hate on that. And the Apple kind of aesthetic there, the AEK kind of thing going on. A lot of people are really into that. A lot of people like the AEK caps on their Alps customs and such. So
I love it on mine. I absolutely love the caps, and having an option to have them on an MX board as well is it's perfect. I genuinely think I'm going to join this and join it quite quickly when it opens up. The base kit got a ton of support in it as well. 60% HHKB layout, ISO, all sorts of TKL. It's got 65% tons of compatibility within the base kit. It has eschewed the Numpad, as a lot of sets are doing these days, but it has a separate calc kit, which gives you a Numpad with some really cool legends. I kind of find the legend on that R1 cap in the top corner, that Numlock cap, that legend is really cool. Yeah.
That is good. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And then it's got some other things, Nomad kit, which covers everything below 6%, so all your 40% split space bar layouts. An Icono, I assume that's Icono or
Probably,
Icono.
yeah.
Icono.
Yeah.
Yeah, which has got all sorts of icons on there, Mac icons, if any of you use those operating systems. And then, again, an international kit, which I'm always going to approve of. So, yeah, I think this is looking pretty smart.
Nice. I like the cup of coffee in the Icono kit.
Yeah,
like
that used to be...
There's an iPod. There's an iPod. There's like a Mac, like an old Mac. There's a cup of coffee.
There's a watch as well. I think the watch one is really cool.
I think this one over here on the top right that's like Beep's logo, isn't it? Oh, it is. Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah,
that's funny. All right, cool. No mention on price that I can find, but if we had to ballpark, I would say the base kit's probably going to be around $90+, maybe upwards of $100. When you forego that numpad in the base kit and some other keys, you can probably drop the price a little bit. So, we've been seeing a lot of EnjoyPBT sets between like the $895 to $110 range. So hopefully this will actually be like a little bit lower since it's not an all-inclusive base kit this time.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'd be completely happy paying $130, $140 for the base kit, and
don't say that.
International kit. I think that's a fair price for it.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Not for the base kit. I said for the base kit and the international kit.
Oh, okay.
So for those two kits, because that's what I would buy to cover what I want to use. I think if I was paying somewhere in the region of $130, $40 for those, I'd be completely comfortable with that.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you just said base kit. I was like, don't put ideas in people's heads.
Make the base kit $200. Stop buying it.
Make the base kit $500, guys. $500 base kit. Let's see how few units this can sell.
Or make it $1 million and then you only need to sell one, right?
Yes. And I'm sure someone will buy that one.
Maybe.
So the group buy is going to start the end of March through KBDfans and Candy Keys if you're in the EU. Pricing available soon.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Pretty cool.
I will see what the pricing happens between KBDfans and the EU. Normally, when we have a US vendor run a key set, it's better to have a vendor in the EU to support EU folks to help with tax reasons and things like that. With KBDfans, it's usually not needed so much. It'll be interesting to see how aggressively Candy Keys price it compared to just waiting an extra few days to get it from KBDfans. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. But
yep,
I'm definitely interested in the set.
Yep, we'll have to check this out again once it actually launches. We can get to see the price.
Yep.
All right, next up we have a group buy for SA Calm Depths, and if you potentially know this handsome gentleman that posted the thread, that is the CEO of Input Club, so we could surmise that this is going to be run on Kono. Big surprise, it is. So
yeah.
Yeah, this is actually open now. We covered it in Interest Check either last week or the week before. But
last week, yeah.
Yep, it has quite quickly moved into the group buy phase. It looks like it's going to be $110 US. This is a max key set also to keep in mind. And why can't I expand this picture? That's stupid. Come on, Andrew, fix your site.
While you're trying to expand that, it's got an MOQ of 250 sets, a fairly all-encompassing base kit from what we've seen of max key support before.
Yeah,
no split space options or anything too extreme, but it covers most.
It's all right. It's okay compatibility. It's not great compatibility. For $110, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad, and for the price, it's great. For the price, $110, it's completely acceptable, and it's a classic colorway. It's one we've seen run a couple of times now. The original Calm Depths group buy, we've seen the GMK version run. I think we saw Max Key version run last year. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy to see this back up again. It's a lovely looking set.
Yep. Do people still call it clam derps? Remember when that was a thing?
Clammy Deeps is the one that I see most often.
Oh, that's because you're in the UK, probably.
Maybe.
Out here, we called it clam derps.
Clam derps and clammy deeps.
Wow, that was never do that American accent ever again, please. That was painful, but I kind of want to hear it again, too, at the same time. It's like a train wreck, like you can't look away.
I might treat you to it later.
Oh, I'd appreciate that, honestly.
Maybe you should do a British accent.
Let me work on that. I'll get back to you. One of these days we should do that. We should just swap accents and just casually do the show. I will try my British accent, and you will try your American, and it'll be really, really bad but amazing at the same time.
Yeah,
people would love that. Just saying. So pretty straightforward stuff, guys. $110 kit there. There's all the compatibility, double shot, ABS, SA profile, max keys. This is sculpted, by the way. I'm gonna show a picture of. Trying to find it. There's like no good pictures to show the sculpt, but you kind of get the idea there.
Yeah, there isn't, but it's traditional sculpts.
Yeah.
So row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 3. It's a fairly traditional sculpt for this one.
Yeah, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, or whatever.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Cool. So, bam, there you go. Easy peasy.
Simple
Open
one.
now. Closes on April 12th. April 12th. So, you got a little over a month to get on this if that's your thing.
Cool.
Speaking of
so the next...
our things, Jay. Just kidding.
I was going to say this one. I'm handing this one over to you. I'm pasting the link. I'm going to let you talk.
Oh, that's fine. So this is SA Hunter Killua by Jack Studio. You know, maybe some of you you weebs out there, or you know, people that are actually into anime, automatically know what this is. This is a set based on the show Hunter x Hunter, which is an anime that's honestly very good and quite popular as far as that genre of anime goes. I admittedly like it a lot. Absolutely love it, actually. So this is based on one of the characters named Killua, who's kind of one of the main characters. And here's kind of what the set entails. It's kind of like the theme is like his clothing, kind of.
Okay, what's the character like? Put it into context, because I have no clue about anything.
So he's like a 12-year-old assassin.
Okay.
He comes from a family of assassins, the Zoldyck family, is what it's called. Okay. And
so it's a realistic plot. Yeah, got you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, totally. I mean, it's an anime. It's like a fantasy anime. It's got magic and stuff. It's a great watch though. But yeah, his character is kind of like you know, he tries to be very cold and calculating. You know, he's a hardened assassin. He's trained. He's experienced. You know, but you know, deep down inside, he's got a heart too. So,
okay,
you know, he's got feelings. It's good stuff. All of you out there that have seen this show know what I mean. You know, Killua's a good dude. But yeah. So Mr. Petrov commenting on the Zoldyck name, trying to spell it right. He actually spells it right here. Trust me, it's not spelled the way that you're trying to spell it, my friend. Anyways, so you get some compatibility here. Not a ton of it though. This is pretty darn limited, as far as I'm concerned, and that's kind of a bummer. Yeah. So you have to use fairly. Why does that always happen? You have to use fairly fairly common layouts if you're into this. And he's got
I mean, realistically, the only compatibility you've got here is you can split backspace, you can use the Sangan or Winky, this bottom row, and you can split both shifts, and that's about... Oh, no, you can't. You can only split right shift. You've got a couple options for right shift. And that's about it, really. There's not much else to do. Set. Yeah.
Yeah, still early interest check, though, obviously, guys. He actually has this listed in the group by... Spot on Keep Talk, which is kind of strange, but this
one thing I do like about this is I like the graphic. I may not know anything about the film itself or the anime itself. I don't know if it's a show or a film.
It's a show.
But I like how he's got a little legend at the bottom that tells you what the thought is behind each of the novelty icons. You know, so there's one for what's the name? Killua. Is that what you said?
Killua. Yeah.
Killua. So one for Killua skateboarding on the backspace, for example, and then he's got a description of all the other ones, Greed Island. And I have no idea what these are, but at least I can read and I can understand what the inspiration is.
Yeah, it's funny because it's a he names it after Killua, but he's got inspirations from other characters as well. He's got, if you can try to scroll down here a little bit, you can see Kurapika's contract chain for the arrow keys. So he definitely kind of breaks away from just using Killua theme stuff, but it's kind of interesting. I'd like to see a Kurapika theme set actually, because I like that character more. But that's that's obviously not a discussion for a keyboard show. So yeah, this is a poll on Mass Drop right now, so it's still kind of an early interest check, but if you want to support it, that's where you do it. Let's move on to this. I actually haven't looked at this one yet either, so this is all you, buddy.
Oh, have you not? The last one? Oh, right, okay.
I forgot to look at this one entirely. So
okay, so this last one is a UK vendor, so it's a guy I know called Parker, and he owns a store called Paradigm Parts. And what he's doing here is round 2 of key bags. So these are effectively satchel-like bags that come with a shoulder strap in various colours, various stitching styles, and various thicknesses and sizes to enable you to transport your keyboards safely and securely. So they're perfectly useful for meetups and things like that. You can put 1 or 2 keyboards in them. You can have ones that double stack keyboards. In fact, I have one just here from the previous round. I'll grab that now.
Oh, really? Cool. Yeah, being able to show it off is always cool.
Yeah, so I appreciate it's a really small picture, guys, but this is Keybag from round 1. It's really nice and stuff. I've got nothing in here at the minute, but nice and firm and padded. Just really nice bit of kit. So yeah, this is a dual one, so this is to fit to 60% in. So they come in various sizes. And
can you actually, before you put that away, can you show it? Can you open it up and show us the inside again, real quick?
Yeah, it's going to be loud because it's Velcro, so I hope this doesn't deafen anyone.
I like how I cover my, I pretend to cover my ears, but I just push the headphones closer to my ears so it's louder.
So you can see it's got 2 separate kind of slots inside with a separator, soft padded material in between. It's really nice and thickly padded. It's really difficult to show it on such a small screen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
we get the idea.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Cool.
They are good bits of kit. Yeah.
Yeah, very neat. So yeah, lots of different options here depending on what size board you have. He's got 1800s. He's got 3000s, which is like kind of like a big full size. He's got 40%, 40% with 2 slots, 60%, 60% with 2 slots, etc. He even has a 75% with 2 slots. 2KL with 2 slots. That's got to be pretty big. Wow.
Yeah, they are pretty big. The one I've got is for 265%. So it's...
He has one called Trump's Wall. What? What is this for? Oh my god.
Interesting. It's designed to fit an oversized switch tester, but I want to get one of those just to see if I can fit a Hyper 7 in it. So for those of you that know my Hyper 7 board, it's just here on the shelf here. It's kind of the length of 260, so I'm going to see if I can get one to fit that in. I don't know if it will go or not, but it might do.
I mean, well, how do you know how many millimeters the Hyper 7 is?
Well, it's slightly larger than 55 centimeters, but the measurements on the key bag that I have is it's slightly larger than advertised from round 1. So I'm hoping that it's kind of like an understated value is that 550, because I think it only needs to be like 3 centimeters more, like 57 centimeters instead of 55, and it would fit. So it might fit at an angle even, because it's not a particularly thick board, isn't Hyper 7. So if not, I'm hoping he'll make me one that's just a little bit bigger that I will be able to put a Hyper 7 in, because that'd be quite cool.
Yes, for all the times that you carry around your Hyper 7 there, Jay. I'm sure
it's the perfect travel board, Brian.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You just bust it out, you plug it into like your phone, and you just type away. Oh man, I want to see a picture of you typing on the Hyper 7 with your phone while you're away from home. I honestly want to see that. So
okay, okay. Well, you have to give me some sort of incentive here. What's the incentive for me to do that?
The picture would be awesome. Let's be realistic here. But I mean,
can you imagine posting that on Reddit? Me and my travel board at the coffee shop.
This is kind of a cool product, though.
Oh yeah, they're great.
I'm trying to find a scenario like where I'd actually use one of these.
So the last UK meetup had quite a few. So the previous round of this ran just before the last meetup. So in the UK, and there was a few people that took them there. It was only a really small meetup. And the meetup before that I actually attended, Pipehacker had all the prototypes for them there. And people were raving over them, because a lot of people that go to meetups in the UK only take 2 boards, and the double one to stack is perfect and ideal for that. So even if you only use it a couple of times a year for the price, it's fairly cheap. Yeah. And you know what? I really like them. The colour options ones are great. The you know the design's good. I mean, that's why I've got one lying around, because I just find it really useful.
Oh wow, I didn't realize you could change the color on screen like this.
Yeah, you can set different colors. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Very neat.
There is, if you click the purple one as well, that'd look really good with that wilba thermal tech. There you go. Yeah, there on the screen a second ago. The white with the purple
Ask
lens.
the colorblind guy to pick colors. Love it, Jay.
It's the white one with the purple ends, but it'd look great with DMG and that thermal tech.
Oh
one.
yeah. Okay. Yep, cool. So you can grab a little strap for it to carry around. Kind of reminds me of at the not the most recent Seattle meetup, but the one before it, the big one during last summer. The guy that designed, I think it was the Atreus, was there, and he had this like really elaborate like setup with straps that let him like wear the Atreus, and like the two parts of the Atreus would sit on each side of his like his torso, his waist basically, and so he would type like with his hands down at his sides. Like it was crazy. It was crazy to watch. But he had like straps to do it. Like it was like a harness for it almost. It was really interesting.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's quite cool.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not sure how useful it is, but it's
cool.
Well,
yeah, no, it's just it's kind of silly, but it's fun. It's fun at the same time.
Sure.
All right. And speaking of fun, let's talk a little bit about the sponsor for today's stream. So starting us out, we're going to start with NovelKeys, who has lots of cool things in stock. He does have some GMK chocolatier extras, so maybe if you missed out on that group buy and you wanted to, hit that up, there it is. Get it while you can, because they're probably relatively limited. He still has lots of desk pads in stock as well, just like he usually does. NovelKeys cream switches still going on. Make sure to get those while you can, and the new Kale China style box switches, which are pretty interesting. We talked about on the show last week. They have very interesting spring properties on a few of them, so make sure to check those out a little bit. And I've been using actually the box pinks a lot lately. I've been really liking them.
Oh really?
Like,
I've yet to try mine, but I have got a board I want to put them in. So yeah, I'm excited to try them.
Yeah, so pretty hyped there. So make sure you pick up some of those while you're there. You can use promo code SPRINGCLACK. That is the current code for this month. 2 words, SPRINGCLACK. That'll get you 5% off your total order, and then we'll all have happy fun times because saving money is cool.
Absolutely. Okay, and moving on, we've got the beast from the east. We've got zFrontier. So zFrontier have got a lot of products on, as they always do. Right now, GMK Minimal is available from them if you're in the market for that and you're in their area. As well as that, they've also got the Modularity, which we've covered a few times on the show. The 60% wireless low pro mechanical keyboard comes with matching Numpad and also a switch tester as well, using Kale Choc switches. So I still think this looks great. Bluetooth low energy wireless, completely wireless board. Really perfect travel board as well. But if you're interested more in something a little bit unusual, they have got the triple shot keycap still up for sale. So I'm still waiting to see mine come through the post. I can't wait to get
actually, we heard that we should actually be getting samples of these, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. I really want to get my hands on some of these triple shots just to check them out. I mean, the group buy has been open for quite a while now, and I have no idea when it's going to close. I don't know if anyone has any idea when it's going to close, but if we could get samples before it closes, that'd be awesome.
That'd be really cool. Yeah. So I've bought a set in the group buy, but as you say, we are getting samples, so it'd be really nice to actually get these samples in hand and try them. But yeah, really interesting group buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we have Kono.store, where you can find Input Club products. You can find a couple different things, like the SA Calm Depths group buy that we were just talking about a few moments ago. That's up now for $110. And then we also have the Kira, which has been shipping out rapidly, and they still have some in stock. They got lots of different models of it, different switch choices, although those are kind of starting to run a little bit low. A lot of them are starting to sell out. You can get a standard plastic or a metal frame. You can choose between black and silver. They have still have a bunch of hex gears boards up, which are all pretty awesome because they have pretty low price points for their feature sets. So a lot of good entry-level options if maybe you don't have a mechanical keyboard yet. You're looking into getting something a little bit little bit cheaper, but you still want some nice features. You want to try some things out. The Hex Gears Gemini Dawn and Dusk, I think, are something I'd highly recommend for 140 bucks. Because you get hot swap, you get SMD RGB, you get full programmability, you get dual USB-C, you get PBT keycaps, and you get a metal frame, all for 140 bucks. So it's kind of like a K-type killer. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Jay? K-type killer, right? Right?
Yep. I hear you, dude. I hear you loud and clear.
Yep. So make sure to check that out and head over there when you can. What else we got, Jay?
Yeah. Finally, we've got Zeal PC, who we do have an affiliate link with. So if you guys want to support us, we get a small kickback if you use zealpc.net/topclack. But Zeal's got some interesting products on sale as always. He's got his orange Helios, a silent linear. I use those in my Zephyr build stream. You can see it on the wall just above me here a couple of weeks ago. So these are a really silent switch, probably the best silent switch on the market at the moment, in my opinion. As well as that, he's also got the tactile Xylants as well, which are also silent tactiles, as well as the Zelio V2, which are a really tactile, heavily tactile switch if you're interested in that as well, and something really smooth. If PCBs are more your thing, then you can check out the Zeal 65 PCB or the Zeal 60 PCB. Revision 4 is just in group buy at the moment. They're both going to ship very shortly. I think, if I remember rightly, the Zeal 60 is going to ship in March, and the Zeal 65 is in stock right now. But if you do buy one of those at the minute, the Zeal 60 is on sale at $120, down from $145 as well. Both of those are VIA compatible and all fully preloaded with all of the kit and goodies you need. And as Barry mentioned earlier, both of them do support switch stabilizer RGBs if that's your thing. Zeal also has his own stabilizers as well in stock if you want to check those out. So you can have a look at his gold-plated PCB-mounted screw-in stabilizers with the clear housings, which take full advantage of the RGBs and the PCBs.
Yeah.
There we go.
And make sure, if you do want to support us, you do use that affiliate link, zealpc.net/topclack. Gives us a bit of a kickback, helps us out, doesn't cost you anything extra, of course, but it just shows that you love us, or at least like us a little bit, or at least like Jay a little bit, or maybe me a little bit. I don't know. You know, maybe you like one of us. I don't know. Anyways, this is a long episode, guys, and some people like that, some people don't. So either you're welcome or we're sorry, depending on who you are. But we're still gonna wrap it up with a Q&A like we normally do, because we gotta round it out with a little something. So we'll stick around for a little while longer. So Q&A time, guys. If you guys have questions, now is the time to ask them. Make sure you use the @TopClack tag so we can see them better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a couple of questions in already. I think I've seen a couple pop up.
Yeah.
Or maybe I've just seen one pop up.
Nebula.
Oh, no, Sashimi was saying, do it again, Jay, for me. I assume he means my terrible American accent. Maybe we'll see it before the end of the show, or maybe we won't.
maybe if you're lucky. we'll see.
Maybe if I can remember how I did it as well.
Nebula was asking, how was the switch-to-switch consistency of the box paint click for you? I didn't notice any kind of abnormalities, so I guess pretty good on my end. I mean, I used it in my my M60, so obviously integrated plate, a lot of control there, because the integrated plate makes it pretty consistent. So you can kind of tell if there are issues between switch to switch, but I did not have any issues on mine.
Cool.
Geo,
I've not tried them yet, so I can't answer that one.
Oh, okay. Geo is asking, I imagine this is to you, has the wife decided on her replacement switch yet? I know she wants louder to assert dominance.
Yeah, she hasn't decided as yet, but the reason why the Zephyr is on the shelf, it's on this side actually, just there, the reason why it's on the shelf and not at work for the wife is because she has asked me to change switches. She hasn't decided what she wants yet. I've given her a few to try, so as soon as she's decided what she wants, we'll be rebuilding that on stream at some point soon, and I'll have to find something else to do with the Helios, but that won't be a difficult job. That'll be quite fun, because I'm sure they'll fit in one of my boards just nicely.
Absolutely. Pluto asking me, how has your UV printed caps been doing? So he's referencing the UV printed sets that are on zFrontier that have been up there for a while now. Very inexpensive, ABS cherry profile. They honestly look really good, and they feel really good. The kind of downside there, the trade-off, is that UV printing does not stand the test of time, you could say. I haven't used them a whole lot because I don't own a board with standard standard layout. So I actually just recently traded my HHKB HS60 for a standard ONZ HS60 just so I could use those keycaps. That's literally the only reason I made that trade. So
that was the method in the madness. Okay.
That's where that went. Because like I've played around with some of the caps before, but I don't currently own any boards with standard layouts. I just don't. So I needed a new PCB. So I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on a plate. Then I'm gonna throw in a tray mount build, and I'm gonna put a lot of use on those UV caps. But for their price, like it's really good. They're like $30 or $40. The sample sets that I was sent did not come with the extra, like the $5 extra like compatibility thing, which makes it usable for slightly more exotic layouts. So I just have the pure base standard layout, so I'll be hoping to put some more time into that soon. But from what I've felt so far, for the price, they're amazing. And you can get really cool sub-legends too, like Thai, Arabic, like Kanji was an option. Like there's a lot of options. It's really, really cool. I like it a lot.
That sounds good. That sounds really good, yeah. Melodet asking, what is your most visited website and why is it 10fastfingers.com?
What if I told you I've never used 10fastfingers.com?
I was going to say the same thing. What is my most used website? I think it's Google Docs, which is kind of surprising. There you go. Yeah, it's not 10fastfingers. I
don't know what my most used site is. Maybe Reddit? I mean, when I'm in front of my PC, I usually have, like, I'll have my browser open and I'll have, like, a few tabs open. I'll have, like, Facebook open for, like, people. I use it for Messenger for, like, 3 people. Like, that's about it. But, like, I'll usually just have it open.
Sure.
I'll usually have my Gmail open. I'll usually have RMK open. Sometimes I'll have Twitch open, stuff like that. So it probably winds up being Reddit. But, yeah. But yeah, I don't do normal typing tests very much because I'm not 100% a touch typist. So like
same.
If I try to do a typing test, like I have to kind of like look up and down a lot, and it slows me down a lot. Like I'll get like 60 or 70 words per minute. But if I'm just typing from memory, like I'm writing something, I'm upwards of 100 words per minute. So it kills me when I do those typing tests. So I don't really like compete with people on those.
Yeah, that's fair. I never break 70 words per minute, so I'm still struggling to teach myself to touch type properly.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't, are you like, is it you or Chris that uses index finger for space, or is that both of you?
Both of us. It's a UK thing.
That's gotta kill you, man. That probably slows you down so much.
It does slow me down. Yeah, it probably does. Yeah, I'm trying to work on it, and I think I cover it on quite a few build streams. People ask me the question when I type again, but yeah, I am trying to teach myself to type properly.
It's so funny. Have you ever gone like through the Top Clack YouTube, the typing tests, and look in the comments? Every single video that I've put out of a typing test, there's at least one person that goes, "How do you type like that? You're a terrible person." It's like people are really aggressive about it too, and I'm like, well, if it pisses people off so much, like I can't change now. Like I gotta just keep doing it. If people are so offended by the way I type, like.
Yeah,
I know it's not proper. I know I could learn better. I know it would probably make me faster, but I don't always care.
Yeah, same. I'm comfortable with how I type. It's comfortable to me. I don't have to think about it. I'm trying to teach myself, but the problem I have is I'll spend a couple of days teaching myself, and I'll be at home, and I'll be fine, and I'll be getting there. I'll be using proper finger layout and pressing the right keys with the right fingers and all that kind of stuff. And then I'll go to work, and I'll have to send 100 emails in a day about various crap, and I'll need to type quickly.
Yeah.
And I just can't stick with it long enough to, because of my requirements. I can't stick with what I've learned long enough for it to bed in properly and for me to build that speed up. And then I just end up going back to my standard typing performance, and it undoes all of that hard work. So it's very difficult for me. I'm trying, but it's just taking a bit of time. That's the only thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Taehatypes asking, he fits the tag, but he does ask, have you guys found a good use for red panda stems? I use them normally. Like in my TMO50, I I just have Yak Red Pandas. I put some Sprit progressive springs in there. I lubed it with 3204,
Okay.
and it's really nice. Almost all the switches have like 0 perceivable friction. So
Okay,
I think they're pretty good.
I've not used the stems. I've not used the Yak Red Pandas as yet. So I intend to use them as Holy Red Pandas. So yeah. List of options says, any vintage board love. Yeah, I've got a few vintage boards. None of them are on the shelves behind me, so you can't see them, but I've got a few vintage boards in the garage. Yeah, I've got quite a few. Everything from Beam Springs to Model M's to, I think I've got about 15 different vintage boards. So yeah, absolutely.
I've owned quite a few vintage boards throughout the years. I don't think I currently own one anymore. I kind of just sell those off. I tend not to use them, but I do like a lot of vintage stuff. A lot of, I'm a big fan of a lot of Alps. Capacitive buckling spring, this Model F spring, beam springs. Good, there's a lot of really, really good and really, really cool vintage stuff out there. I don't really have the space for it.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Nebulance asking if you can do an in-hand test. I had some issues with mine. Man of Interest did as well.
Okay, is this on the box?
The pinks?
Pinks.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not as perceptible as you guys are on it. Maybe I do have issues and I just haven't noticed yet. I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people complain about things like ping and stuff, and I don't know if it's just biology, my ears. I'm just not as sensitive to certain things. I feel like my fingers are very sensitive. Like, I'm pretty good at discerning differences between switches, but when it comes to like like spring noise, like it's often hard for me to discern like the difference in spring between switches by sound.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I don't know. I could just be not a good human being at that. Dixie says y'all are still on. This has been a long stream, man.
Yeah, 2 hours 20 minutes so far. I think.
I mean, we had announcements. We did the Mech Madness thing. We've had a long and very interesting news doc, and we just moved on to the Q&A a few moments ago. So we're wrapping up, but it's been a long one. Yeah.
It has. Yeah. Melodet says, "What typing test do you use then?" So I don't really use anything for a typing test as such. I do use keybr.com. To try and teach myself how to touch type, but I don't use a typing test as such. I'll paste the link to that in chat actually, because that's what I use. Yeah,
I don't actually do typing tests generally, so I don't really use any.
Mine's more of a trainer on how to type correctly rather than a typing test bit of software.
Yeah. Pan1414 asks, can you give a brief description of your issues while typing on SA? Good question, because I don't know about you, but I'm definitely not a fan of typing on SA.
I don't mind it. I prefer to type on Cherry Profile, but I can type on SA just fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much adjustment. The Hyper 7, when I bust that out, that's full of SPSA, fully sculpted as well, so I can type on that just fine. It's okay. Would I choose to type on it? I don't think I could solely go to SA if I was asked to go to just one.
I'd have trouble with that as well. I don't like you. I don't think I have issues typing on it. It's more just like it's not as comfortable for me. I think I find it too tall. It's just physically not as comfortable for me. And one thing I really don't like about it is, I don't know if it's just due to the height of the cap or the density, but I feel like you lose some of the feeling of the switch because of just how bulky SA caps are. Like they
don't feel good on tactiles. I'll be fair.
Yeah,
they
like
feel much better on linears.
Yeah, like if you're using like a Zealio with Cherry Profile versus Zealio with SA, like the difference is large. Like the switch, it almost feels like a different switch.
Yeah.
And I like the Cherry Profile because it's much shorter. You're much closer to the switch. There's a little bit less material. It makes it a little bit easier to get, I hate to sound really nerdy here, but you get more intimate with the Switch.
Sure, yeah, you can feel it. Yeah, you get more feedback from the Switch, and yeah, I completely get it. Completely agree. Yeah. So I don't have any issues with SA as such, but I wouldn't want to type on it permanently.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can use it just fine, but it's not what I want to type on most of the time. Neflock asking, when do we get an episode with Jay's 240Z? You should do like a blog. I've actually, spoiler alert, I've been thinking about doing blogs lately on like the Top Clack YouTube channel. Like just like little videos where like I talk about like whatever, maybe keyboards, you know, maybe not. Sometimes people just want to like know what's going on in our lives, maybe just a little break from the repetition, I guess you could say, and just like fun little casual like.
My challenge back to Neflock, as he is a keyset designer of GMK Metropolis, is I will give you some 240Z content when I get my set of Metropolis on my desk. Then we can go from there. So as soon as you get that group buy up and I can hit that buy button, that's when I'll start to send you some 240Z stuff.
Yeah, but it'd be kind of fun if you at some point did like a vlog, like while you're driving the 240 and maybe you got like a dash mount camera and you're just talking to the camera.
Yeah, I could do that.
That could be fun.
I could do that. We might do something like that.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
I'm actually having a keyboard cerakoted via Tyson to match the Datsun as well, so maybe that might make a good vlog as well. Maybe we'll have to have a look. We'll have to see.
El Pepe 21 is asking, how long do you wear in switches before lubing, if at all? It's a great question. Mine usually depends on what switch it is. Some switches I feel like don't really benefit from a break-in. Some I feel like benefit very heavily from a break-in. I like to use retooled Cherry MX Blacks as an example. I think the difference between stock retooled MX Blacks and like stock retooled MX Blacks that have been used for 2 or 3 weeks heavily is massive. It's an absolute monumental difference. But let's say Telios, for example, the difference, you know, after totally stock versus 2 or 3 weeks of heavy use, pretty negligible, if anything, really. So I think it's really dependent.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll use a switch for a couple of days heavily for work, so, you know, 2 8-hour shifts or something for work or whatever, and I type a fair amount, and then I'll test the switch against the stock one that hasn't been used and say, is there a difference between switch A and switch B? If there is a difference, then I know that breaking it is doing some good. I'll carry on doing it until I don't feel any further improvement, and then I'll ultrasonically clean them and then lube them. As Brian says, sometimes you'll find that after a couple of days of usage, there's no perceivable difference between the stock switch and the broken in switch. So at that point, it's just a case of just let's crack on and use it for whatever build it was planned for.
Yeah. I will say though, but for the switches that I do prefer to break in, a lot of like Cherry MX retooled black stuff like that. I'm actually breaking in TTC blacks right now. And, you know, I usually try to use them very heavily for at least 2 weeks on some of these scratchier switches. But, like, a lot of, like, the Zeal lineup switches don't really benefit as much from break-in just because they're already so smooth to start with. And if you're going to lube them, like, you're not really going to have friction at all, like, regardless of whether you break them in or not. So it's almost kind of counterproductive at that point. So you take it on a case-to-case basis. But my general rule of thumb is, you know, anywhere from, like, 1 to 3 weeks of heavy use. Jazzy Brewer asking, have you tried the new Otemu silent tactile stems? I have not, but I think I saw a picture of them and they looked really, really interesting.
I have some, but I haven't tried them. I've got some. I actually promised I'd send them to someone the other day, which I need to post tomorrow. I'll have a play tomorrow. If you ping me, Jazzy Brewer, and I'll give you some thoughts. But I have them, but I haven't really looked at them properly.
If I recall, they're like a totally different design from other MX silent tactiles.
Yeah, I can't really remember, but I have got some. I've got them in the bag. I can see them beside me. I'll dig them out and I'll have a play. And if you want my thoughts, Josie, if you just PM me on Discord, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Upass says he agrees with me. I tried to use ortho, but it's not fast enough at work, so I end up using my 60% and typing in properly. That's exactly what it is. I just get to a certain point, and it's just like I have to type quicker and I have to be more productive, and that stops me being able to learn how to touch type properly. It just undoes all the hard work I've done.
Yeah. GA333E is asking, is it okay to use 3204 to lube ergo clears? It's all personal preference, man. All personal preference. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like that lube and you like those switches with it, then it's totally fine. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I would just if you're doing ergo clears and you want to retain that tactility, you make sure you go a little bit lighter, or maybe even none at all on the legs or on the leaf where the legs touch for tactility, for actuation. Yeah. It's tough. Or go like really, really, really thin on that part. Because ergo clears are really easy to lose tactility with if you get a little too ambitious around the leaf or the legs.
Yeah, it's easy to overdo it, I think, as well. So
yeah,
you have to be really careful there. Yeah, that's a good point.
Upass has a question asking, have you guys used Christo lube? What do you think? Leading question, maybe?
I know what he's referring to here, but yeah, go on. I haven't tried Crystal Lube, but I think you have, Brian. So.
Well, yes. When I tried it, it was unknowing because maybe some of you viewers that have been around for a little bit remember that me and Nathan Kim of Taehatypes did a dual stream where we tried out lubes that NovelKeys was potentially planning to offer. And the way it worked was NovelKeys sent myself, Nathan Kim, and a man of interest all 19 vials of unlabeled lube. We had no idea what any of them were, and he would not tell us what any of them were. Told us to review them and let us know how we thought. So me and Nathan Kim spent hours streaming lubing, where we lube a couple switches. We lube like 2 or 3 switches with each lube. Try some different methods and figure out what we liked and what worked the best. And I don't remember the name. The only one I actually found out was the Christo. So Christo 112 was actually my favorite lube of all 19. Disclaimer, most of the 19 lubes were bad. I'd say like over half of them were what I would call unusable. And a lot of those felt like they made the Switch worse, honestly. A couple of them felt like paint. It was bad. A lot of them were terrible. That's horrible. There were probably like 3 or 4 that I think were like pretty good or good enough. And my favorite happened to be the Christo 112. So I do believe that NovelKeys is planning to stock that, as well as Nathan Kim's favorite lube out of the bunch and Man of Interest's favorite lube. I think all 3 of us had a different favorite out of that entire bunch. So
okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. It just shows how much preference is a part of lubing, as well as a switch type and feel and plate and everything else that we can pick and choose for in the hobby.
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
As for how much I like it, I only tried it on a few switches. I haven't actually tried it on a full board yet, so I can't really comment. But it felt pretty good to me. It felt at least like a competitor to something like 3203, 3204. Wherein, as it felt lighter than it looked, and it applied quite easily. It gave you almost like an oil feeling while being a grease, which I really appreciate. It's one of the reasons I like
sounds good.
Yeah, I like 3203 a lot for that exact reason, even. So
I kind of want to try it now. So I think I know why you're asking that question, Upass. So if you send one with my Brutal 60, I will try it. I'll pay for it if you tell me what I owe you, but because I know you bought a fair amount. But yeah, if you send some with my Brutal 60, I'd love to give it a try.
Yeah, certainly. Taehatypes asking, have you guys found a good use for the Red Panda stems or the Halo housings? No. No. Well, I agree. Like I answered your question earlier about the Red Panda stems. I still use mine in my Red Pandas. I still use the stock stem in my Red Pandas.
I think if you've made Holy Red Pandas, I guess the question is, what do you do with your leftovers? Useful for? Yeah. And okay, so I'm going to be quite frank here. I just throw them away. They're of no use to me because I don't feel they make a good switch together. The Panda stems I don't really have any other use for. The Halo housings I definitely don't have any other use for, so I just throw them away.
I usually will sell them. I say sell, but I offer them for the cost of shipping. A lot of times people will buy them just to mess around with, because you spend like $3 or $4 and you get a bunch of housings and springs and stuff. Sometimes it's worth it for people, sometimes it's not. What you could do is like you could try to make Franken switches like out of spare parts that you find that aren't like too terrible. I know it's not ideal, but what you can do is you can make switches that are acceptable Maybe you can lube them or whatever, and just
maybe.
Hold on, I'm not done talking here, Jay. Relax. I'm getting somewhere with this. Trust me.
Go on then. Go on.
All right. So let's say you make some acceptable Franken switches, and like they're not too bad. You haven't spent any really money because they're all leftover. They're all garbage at that point. Maybe you lube them with some spare lube that you have. Doesn't cost you anything because you already have it. And you maybe find a cheap PCB that you have laying around, or a plate. You piece together a build, and you give it to someone. You give it to a friend, convert them to a mech, something like that. I'm all good about like recycling stuff like that. I don't like wasting things, generally speaking. So
you redeemed yourself at the end there.
I know, and I knew I would, but you were really trying to get me there.
I wasn't convinced you were gonna redeem yourself, but you did. That's
I mean, yeah, like let's say you got some stems from another Franken switch laying around. Maybe they're like a Gateron linear or another Kale linear or something, and like you just throw those in the Kale housings. It's not like Kale housings are awful or anything. Like they're okay. It's just they're not amazing. But when they're just garbage otherwise, when they're free. You can piece together like a $20 mech for a friend, or something like that.
You've inspired me, Brian. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some switches with when I make my Holy Red Pandas for the JO1 second build. I will use the Red Panda stems and I will use the Halo housings to create a Franken switch. I will put some sprit springs in there and lube them, and I will rebuild the Zephyr for the wife with them.
Oh, wow! You're going hard with that, then. That's I like it. You'll have to let me know how it goes. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you'll see on stream, I'm sure. If you watch back one of my VODs afterwards.
I think I'll have to at this point. Yeah. But yeah, I'm all about like that you can convert people, right? Like you can just get people into mechs. Like maybe you have a friend that uses a membrane and like has never tried a mech and he has no money and you have no money to buy him something. So you just you use leftovers. You just piece things together. I remember. I mean, this is not keyboard related per se, but when I used to be a really big PC enthusiast, and I was really big into like PC parts, and like my thing was always getting value out of builds. Like how much performance per dollar can you get? That is huge for me. And I remember people used to post like their builds, like their specs and stuff. And this one guy posted a $0 build, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever because he had he's like, I found this like 120 gig mechanical hard drive in a dumpster that worked, and I tried it, and he's like, my school was throwing out like this motherboard because it's like super outdated or whatever, and like he pieced together like a working computer for $0, and that's pretty impressive. It was so inspiring. And I'm not saying people should be necessarily doing that with keyboards, but hey, like maybe don't let parts just go to the dumpster.
Okay, sure. No, it's fair point. It's fair point. Okay, cool.
Sorry to ramble for so long about that.
No, it's fine, dude. It's fine. Mug Genius says, when will we stop calling retool blacks? When will the madness end?
He's asked me this a few times, and it's a really fair point. It's a really fair point.
It is, but we kind of need a differentiator for them to say that these aren't the same as the blacks we had before because they're different. So you kind of have to have some sort of differentiator so people know what you're talking about. If something's been refreshed or renewed, generally a lot of things will have revision 1, revision 2, things like that. These didn't, so we have to talk about what the old product was, what the current product is, and those are two separate different entities. The best way we've got of doing that at the minute is calling them retooled blacks. Maybe it's not ideal, but at least people know what you mean when you say it.
Yeah, you could say the same thing for why do we call them vintage blacks, because that was just a retooling at that point too. So we have all MX blacks, and we have 3 stages based on when they were retooled. So if you're going to hate on saying retooled blacks, I think you also got to hate on saying vintage blacks. But
it's a fair point.
Counter argument, just for the sake of discussion and to keep you up even later, Jay.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've noticed, maybe you've ordered a couple batches of retooled blacks off arrow.com or something, or somewhere else. I remember once they went up on Arrow, I bought like 300 when they first went up. They are fantastic. They are super smooth, consistent. They do awesome and spring swaps with lube. Love them. I still have a bunch left. I'm going to be using more. They're awesome. I bought a batch much more recently. So after the molds have been used quite a bit, because they've gone through quite a bit of switches now. They are not good. Retooled blacks. Okay. The most recent batch I got, not good. A far cry from the first bag that I got. So I think once we get to where kind of pre-tooled MX blacks and retooled MX blacks feel effectively the same, then you can kind of argue that maybe the moniker there is not a good idea.
Sure. Okay. No, I have noticed that same thing with my most recent batch of retooled blacks. I think I bought 1,000 when the first lot came out, which is probably when you bought your first lot, and then I bought 300 just before Christmas. Sorry, and there is a significant difference between the first and the second batch. So you are right, that has changed.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just for the sake of discussion, it's a good point though. I mean, at the end of the day, they are just cherry MX blacks, but.
Yeah,
when people of our level of enthusiasts, like all you guys watching in chat, what do we spend all day in Discord doing? We debate and argue about the sound of this switch, the viscosity of this lube, the feel of this anodization. Like, we argue and debate about the most minuscule things that functionally don't really matter.
I spent 45 minutes chatting with Ahab about what type of screw top is best for keyboards, whether it's Torx or Hex or Posit Drive or whatever,
for most of us, this is a hobby. Like, this is the kind of stuff we want to discuss because we're passionate about it, and that's not a bad thing. So, like, we have to be able to know what each other are talking about when we talk about stuff like that. And like Jay said, it may not be ideal, but that's how we know at the moment.
Yeah. It's how we differentiate, and that's key. Moving down the list, not a question, but Gio says, I'm dying right now. Don't know how Jay's still awake. I'm barely awake at the minute. I am feeling it, so we are going to wrap this up soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Yeah. GA333E says, who is your favourite keyboard designer at the moment? Well, after tonight's show, I've got to be honest, it's Wilba, because that thermal looks amazing. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, well, I guess to be fair, because the thermal's not out, we haven't tested the thermal, we haven't used the thermal. Okay. It's hard to like say this is going to be an amazing product because we haven't tried it yet. I mean, in Wilba and Zeal's defense, it's probably going to be an amazing product. Wilba's a very prolific designer. He does amazing work. Zeal is a very, very great and established vendor, and obviously he has a lock on a solid factory. This is probably going to be a freaking A+ product. But, being the devil's advocate that I am, we don't know anything yet. So.
Okay, so moving to your new criteria, which is something that we physically tried and tested. For me, I would give that accolade to myself and Teslatron for the JO one, because that board is my favorite right now.
You would.
Yeah. So if we're gonna play it by what we've used that's impressing us at the minute, then that would be the answer. But really, it's Wilbur. I'm waiting for that thermal. That's what's on my mind right now. That's all that's on my mind.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I would guess, like, for me it's the same as when, like, people are like, what's your favorite keyboard? I'm like, I don't really play favorite keyboards. Like, I rotate so often and I like so many different things, and I try different combinations all the time. Like, my favorite kind of just changes daily or hourly, whatever. So I don't really have one like on lock. I like a lot of different things. So I don't want to answer that question because I feel like if I answered with anything, it would not be correct.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think if you ask the question today and then you ask the question in 3 months and 6 months and 9 months, there's going to be a different answer every time, because we're trying different things, we're seeing different things, we're experiencing different things all the time at the minute, and there's a whole hotbed of creativity. So best isn't necessarily the right word. It's sometimes it might be who's the most creative or who's inspired us the most as well. So there's all sorts of different ways you can take it into that. And as Brian said, I know I was being really flippant when I mentioned mine and Tez's involvement in my board. It is really difficult to put your finger on one because it's such a hotbed of talent right now. There's so many good designers out there. You could call out UPass with the Satisfaction 75 and the Brutal 60. You could call out Pono with the Xeno and the Equinox. There's so many people out there that are developing boards. Zekin with his Numpad, and I know he's got a TKL in the works as well. Max with the Anzi and the Cypher and the Gambit. And
there's so many
people doing so many things. It's impossible impossible to pick.
Sushimi asking, I think he's referring to the NovelKeys blind lube test with this, but he's asking, didn't all three of you have different faves, but all of your picks were in each other's top 3 in some way? Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Yeah, Nathan and I were, I think, like two out of the 3 we were together on. So yeah, I don't really remember what Huey's was though. Moving on a little bit. El Pepe 21 asking, what key set are you looking forward to the most? GMK, DMG at the moment.
Yeah, that's up there.
Especially after seeing that picture on the thermal.
Oh yeah,
like 20 minutes ago. Wow.
GMK Metropolis as well is a big one for me. So I know Neflock's watching. I've seen him post in chat earlier on. So yeah, I'm waiting for that. GMK Minimal is really cool as well. What else is coming?
Here, I got a curveball. DSA Aquanaut.
Oh yeah, you know that's
a good looking one.
It looks fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I need to go back and have a look at it, see if he's changed anything based on the feedback we left, or see how the chat's gone, because I did put some feedback in the chat, I think.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we actually are caught up on questions aside from Nebulant claiming that you dislike your wife for putting Franken switches in her Zephyr. So yeah. GMK Mizu. That's another one I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Mizu. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mizu, Aquanaut, are definitely 2 I'm gonna have to buy. I'll probably get on a minimal too, hopefully. So.
Yeah, I've already joined Minimal. I'm definitely going to join Mizu. Metropolis is a big one for me. GMK9s as well. How can I forget Mizu? GMK9s, that looks really good as well.
That looks solid. Anything in cat profile, I'm fairly interested in right now. The fact that we don't have more cat sets on the market right now is honestly like disheartening, because it really is good.
We should run top Clack cat.
Do we do that? Do we just actually do that? We should just do that, huh?
Why not? Top Clack cat, why not? It sounds great.
Well, there you go, folks.
You heard it here first. It's an idea.
I guess we're doing that. So we can't change our color scheme, which I didn't really want to do anyways. So there you go. Top cat. There you go. Sid got it. I like that. All right. So now that we've gone almost 3 hours long and there's no more questions, now is when we're going to be heading off. And usually I'm the one to do it, but I'm gonna let Jay, in his 24 hours of wokeness, send us off in style.
Yeah, so a couple of things to point out before we finish, guys. Next week I'm on holiday, so I won't be on the show. Brian's going to be solo-handedly managing the show next week, but I will be back the week after. It's just a 1-week gap. I'm going to Budapest for the week.
Or am I?
Or ever. You're throwing curveballs already, Brian, to that now.
I like the curveballs today, baby.
There may be a build stream this Sunday from me. There might not be. It depends on how prepared I am for going away. There won't be one a week on Sunday. So just because I'm away, I won't have time when I come back. So yeah, there might be a bit of a gap there. Other than that, thank you very much for your support, for all the bits, donations, subscriptions, whatever else you guys have done for us. We really appreciate it. Please do consider using our affiliate link that we mentioned before for 159's Project Keyboards and for Zeal PC if you want to support us any further. And I'll see you in 2 weeks, and Brian will be back next week. So
yeah, I'm gonna post these links in chat that we talked about, since people at
the
beginning. Also, another shout out to CYO Keycaps for the Artisan giveaway that's going on Top Clack right now. I'll post it in the Discord momentarily, but there it is in the chat right there. If you're interested in winning some Artisans for free, and maybe you like those sculpts or something, just go ahead and enter. Feel free to enter.
The sculpts are great. I really like them. The ones I've got here are stunning. So yeah.
Yep. So he's a super nice guy. Make sure to check him out. Check out that giveaway. Good stuff.
He's in chat there. Tyler Durden. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Really appreciate it, and thanks for supporting us, dude. Genuinely, these caps that you sent me, they match my key set so well. I'm going to share some pictures of them tomorrow.
The blanks in particular, like I really want a WASD cluster for these. Like look at the bottom of these. The quality. It's so interesting. The quality of Artisan Maker has gone up so much in the last 2 years, because people used to be kind of bad at. I'm being kind of mean, obviously, but people used to be kind of bad at making keycaps at the beginning, and obviously people got better at it. But the people that are brand new to this, still doing this, crazy. Like the kind of quality that people get. Like
it's unbelievable.
Like 2 years ago, this would have been like an insanely high quality blank, and it is very nice. But it's like,
well, I mean, it's like you look at like the other things as well, the Keyporas and stuff like that. The quality that people are getting in Artisans now is so good. And just the elephant sculpt. Hold on, where it is that Tyler Durden's done as well. Is just so nice. I know these aren't going to show up well on here. I'm going to take some pictures and post them on stream.
Showing, yeah, I have a couple quick pics in the Google form for the giveaway if anyone wants to check that out. So
yeah, but they are so good, so good.
Aw, yeah, boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed the show today. We definitely enjoyed doing it, even though it was almost 3 hours long. We still somehow made it back in one piece, and we hope you guys enjoyed. And stay tuned next week,
and I didn't
same
fall
time,
asleep.
same place. And Jay didn't fall asleep somehow, but he's probably going to right now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time someone has slept on Top Clack, actually.
Oh, really? Who
That's okay. The little quick Top Clack lore for you guys. A long time ago, when Top Clack was still pretty new, Huey and I decided it would be fun to have Living Speed Bump on the show, who is known as somewhat of a drinker. And, we thought it might be fun to do an episode where all of us, maybe get a little drunk. And long story short, Huey cannot handle his liquor, and he decided to pass out on stream.
Oh well. Is that when he fell off his chair, or is that a different?
Yeah, no, that was that was he just straight up passed out. That VOD is gone to the abyss too, but I think that GIF is still somewhere around.
Is it? I do remember it.
It was that was a weird one. Anyways, that was a lost episode long time ago, but fun lore there for people that actually care. Anyways, thank you guys all so much for joining us. Hope you guys had a good time like we did, and we will catch you later. Make sure to join the Discord, link below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, link below. Join the giveaways, linked in chat in the Discord. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You guys are amazing. See you next time.
See you guys.